Here tonight, teams have just come out. Chelsea are used to Champions Leagues, titles and trophies. Not now. Any Premier League win feels like a trophy lift these days here at Stamford Bridge. Meantime, Newcastle's newfound glory days lasted about 5 minutes. Cup final, top 4 finish, and 1 win in 6 Champions League group games. Both fighting to get out of mid-table. Chelsea against Newcastle, live on Game Night on Talksport, with former England midfielder Danny Murphy alongside Sam Matterface.
Well, if there was an awards category for an underwhelming season, then Chelsea and Newcastle would certainly make the list of nominees. Newcastle overachieved last season and have not been able to strengthen their cast when they clearly needed to fill more roles. So maybe they've got an excuse or two. But Chelsea, well, they've been one of those big summer blockbusters. All the money spent on the special effects, but the plot doesn't make sense and the actors can't convince you. Maybe they'll be better in the sequel. That said, if Chelsea win their 2 games in hand, they'll be above Brighton and Wolves in 8th. Not that that would placate the whole audience. The Blues' leading man has had enough of off-screen whispers, but at Chelsea, they are never afraid of killing off the main characters before rolling out someone else to take centre stage. Here are the teams, starting with Chelsea. Petrovic is their goalkeeper, Gusto the right back, Disasi, Chalobah and Cucurella the back 4. Enter Fernandes and Caicedo, the 2 in midfield, with Gallagher pushing further on, Palmer and Sterling supporting Jackson in attack. Newcastle have Dubravka in goal, Livramento replaces the injured Kieran Trippier. Cher, Botman and Byrne make up the back 4 with Willock, Guimaraes and Longstaff in the middle of the park. Almiron and Isak and Gordon are the attack. Well, it's another box office week of football on Talksport. Tomorrow, Arsenal-Porto. Wednesday night, it's Bournemouth against Luton. Thursday night, we've got West Ham in Europe, followed by Aston Villa against Ajax of Amsterdam. Saturday, 2 FA Cup quarter-finals. Sunday, 2 more, plus 9 to go in the Championship. So we bring you the South Wales derby. But tonight, it's Chelsea's ensemble of glittering starlets who have yet to land the big role against a Newcastle side who need a big comeback if they want to be on the European stage next season. Chelsea, blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks attacking the shed end in the first half. It's the black and white stripes of Newcastle shooting from left to right. Now, referee this evening is Rob Jones. And we are about to get underway. It's John Brooks, actually. Rob Jones is on the officiating staff, but he is John Brooks in the middle of the park with his whistle in his mouth, ready to get us started. And Danny Murphy is in the commentary box. And how do Chelsea avoid defeat against Newcastle here tonight with a patched-up defence?
Nice and positive. Play to your strengths. Your forward players use their pace, use their skill, get the ball to them early, and try and play on the front foot. Well, they don't want to be sitting off. I don't think they will. Very rarely see them sit off. They always have a go, Chelsea.
We're underway, and Raheem Sterling playing on the left-hand side. Palmer on the right, as we anticipated. And Caicedo, who has just tried to win the ball in midfield, has lost out. And Joe Willock has gone sprinting down towards the Newcastle left. And then Anthony Gordon has taken over, found Guimaraes. He's tried to pop it over the top of the Chelsea defence for Dan Byrne. And then Guimaraes has just edged the ball forward. It looked like with the use of a hand, but the referee said play on, and it's cleared away up to halfway. And once again, the ball is with Newcastle. Chelsea win it back far side, 10 yards inside their own half. Cole Palmer, who might have a big say in proceedings today. And he finds Malagusto playing at right back tonight. March is moving month for those who the season has fallen below expectation. A chance to make one last charge. A chance to stake one last claim. Here's Cucurella in the left full-back position, trying to play the ball down the left touchline, blocked by Almiron. Good pressure from Newcastle. Goes behind the way for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. We've played 1 minute and 15 seconds. It's Chelsea 0, Newcastle 0.
It was lovely to see Joe Willock when he won the ball back off Caicedo, bombed forward then and looked really fast and athletic. You know, he's had a lot of problems with injury.
He has.
But he's a lovely mover, you know, with and without the ball. He's just started pulling away from Caicedo. not seen that from him too much, that ability to just stride away from players. He's got so much talent. He's been a big miss for Newcastle. I like Willock.
Missed 3 months with hamstring and Achilles issues. Petrovic has just sliced the ball out on the far side. A poor kick out towards Malagusto. It's gone out for a Newcastle throw high up on the left-hand side. Here is Isaac just drifting out of the penalty area, clipping it towards the far post. Almiron goes up with Cucurella. The ball bounces through kindly for Longstaff, who keeps it in by the corner flag right side as Newcastle come on the attack. And then that ball looks as if it went fully out, but the assistant on this near side was very flag happy, and it's a Chelsea throw in the left fullback position. Chelsea unlikely to get an easy ride tonight. Their run of just 3 wins in 9 games is hardly confidence inspiring, but Newcastle's record here at Stamford Bridge is about as reliable as Alan Brazil's alarm clock in Cheltenham week. And they've won 1 of their last 28 Premier League visits to Stamford Bridge.
Although I think he did have a full house last year when he was at Cheltenham, Alan, so maybe things are changing.
You never know. Listen to Jill. Listen to Jill. Ball out of play on this near side. Livramento has it bounced to him by Almiron. He will throw it in perpendicular with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Almiron takes on Cucurella, who tries to shuffle him towards the near touchline. They're sort of jostling for the ball. Cucurella nudges it between his legs and goes out for a throw-in again, which Livramento will take away to our right-hand side. Without wanting to jinx it, Danny, the stats do say goals are on the menu tonight.
Yeah.
Here is Longstaff trying to get in behind, and Enzo Fernandez watched him, snuffed out that danger. Livramento hooks it back over his shoulder from the right wing position, but it's away by Fernandez again. Might fall kindly for Sterling. Doesn't. And it's helped back by Guimaraes. Back to his goalkeeper, who's under a little bit of pressure from Nicholas Jackson, and Dubravka just about found Anthony Gordon over on the far side. He's harassed by Malagusto. The ball deflects off Palmer. It's been a little bit of a frenetic start to the game. Newcastle have the ball.
Yeah, the last time I predicted goals, we were down at Brighton, and it ended up Brighton 0, Wolves 0, so I'm not going to do that again.
It was a good game, though.
It was a really good game, but people want goals. Well, generally.
Games involving these two are about as close to a guarantee of goals as you can get. There are 2 of only 4 Premier League teams that both score and concede 43 or more goals this season. Here come Chelsea down the right-hand side with Cole Palmer trying to run to the edge of the area. He faced up by Dan Burn, then comes back left-footed, sends a cross into the box, which is behind every blue shirt that went charging into it, and it's collected by the Newcastle black and white stripes and out towards this near side. There's a few empty seats inside Stamford Bridge. The wings of the West Stand opposite us have a clutch of about 50 seats away to our left and about 100 seats away to our right. They're completely empty tonight, which is a bit of a surprise. You don't see that very often at a Premier League ground. Malagusto hooks it clear.
I think it's still a decent crowd considering the poor displays they've had. Not so much at home, I know, but there's only a few empty ones.
Yeah, haven't found home a very welcoming environment this season. They have picked up the same number of points on their travels as they have done here, and it is their first Premier League home game in 36 days. Maybe we'll get a better flavour of the feeling around the place as the ball comes into the Chelsea penalty area from the right side with Longstaff trying to nudge it infield. Maybe there's just a few latecomers because of transport problems. It's a little bit hefty here. What are you doing, kicking there?
You?
What?
Shaking the seats.
I'm not shaking the seats. I just got a little bit of adrenaline flowing through my body. You know what I'm like? I
tell you what, it's been a little bit easy for Newcastle to get into the Chelsea final third early in the game. It leads really open. It looks really open, I should say.
Cole Palmer picks it up on halfway. He tries to go through the centre circle. Then he sends it out towards the right-hand side. It's picked up by Gusto. Gallagher went on. He didn't pass him the ball. Instead, he tried to divert it into the near post. It's not a great clearance, that. He comes back towards Jackson, and he's struck by Palmer. Jackson got a little touch, and I think he snuck it into the far corner. They're debating whether or not the touch was significant enough for him to claim it. But Cole Palmer either has yet another assist or a goal, and Chelsea hit the front inside the first 7 minutes of the game. Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0. A poor clearance from inside the Newcastle box. Cole Palmer struck it firmly towards the far post. Jackson looked as if he got a little touch on it. He certainly tried to claim it. We'll have a look at the replay to see whether he did. The big screens have given it to Cole Palmer.
No, I think Jackson flicked it in. The problem is, I mean, we said it's open, but when it gets on the right-hand side, the lack of closing down from Dan Burn to allow the cross to go in the first place, then the poor clearance, I think, was from Botman. The shot from Palmer, yeah, it's a flick from Jackson. It's a great finish. Poor defending from Newcastle in every aspect. Great little flick. He's going wide. It's too easy to cross. The clearance is poor. Not the best strike from Cole Palmer, but nice little bit of improvisation from Nicholas Jackson to get the goal.
Yeah, it really is poor defending from Newcastle United. The clearance from Botman was just average, wasn't it? I mean, it was really weak. Here's Almiron at the other end. Longstaff edge of the area. Across comes Enzo Fernandez, and he manages to smuggle it out towards the near side. And Chelsea have the lead by a goal to nil on Talksport here. And credited initially to Palmer has now been changed to Jackson, who is looking to sprint away down the left-hand side. Sterling took too long to release him. Maybe he went a little bit early with his run, but it was cut out by Newcastle anyway, and they have it on this near touchline. Cucurella comes out towards this near side. Pochettino wrote in his programme notes today that there is still plenty to play for. Reece James, the captain, in his programme notes highlighting that Newcastle were one of those teams that Chelsea had to try and chase.
Do you know what? It was a catalogue of errors, Sam. Dan Burn was so slow to get out to block the cross. It was a token gesture. The clearance, I think it was Botman, miscontrolled, miskicked to the edge of the box. And then Bruno Guimaraes' lack of pressing the ball when Palmer shot. Real lethargy about them defensively there from Newcastle. He'll be fuming, Eddie Howe.
190 goals now in games involving Newcastle. They are the entertainers, there's no doubt about it, but too many of them have gone in their own net, and that was another one that I think Eddie Howe will be disappointed with. There were signs actually that Newcastle were starting to look a little bit better defensively in the game against Wolves. We've got a delay here because Caicedo is needing some treatment in the middle of the park. And the Newcastle fans taunting the Chelsea supporters for their lack of support. Caicedo back to his feet now. John Brooks just making sure he is okay. And we are about to get underway again. Fabian Schär will have the ball returned to John Brooks, and there will be an uncontested drop ball in Newcastle territory. It might have been
Schär with the clearance, or was it Botman?
I thought it was Botman.
Yeah, okay. Certainly the lack of intensity in the press twice, though, and the poor clearance are just... They're really not difficult things. It's a mindset. It's always a mindset when you start football matches. Got to be clued up. Start of every game, start of every second half. It's just when people switch off.
Ball played down the right by Newcastle, comes from the back towards the front, and Isak's got a chance to spring in behind, but Disasi gets across and manages to intervene as the ball comes in from the right side by Almiron. Taken down by Palmer, who wants to get things moving, going forward. Another assist to his name today. The man with the most goals for Chelsea, and now 6 goals and 6 assists in his last 12 games in the Premier League. That's some record.
He's so classy. Love watching him play. Such an intelligent footballer. Great movement. When to come in off the line, when to spin, when to drop off, when to play one touch, when to take his touches.
Starting to look like a bit of a bargain, really.
Oh, he is.
And there hasn't been many of those around here.
No, he is the exception rather than the rule.
Well, we did get to see a couple of England young stars in the making tonight. Cole Palmer scored or assisted 40% of Chelsea's 45 Premier League goals now this season. Anthony Gordon, just a couple of goal involvements behind him for Newcastle, who are on the attack with Livramento right side up towards the edge of the area. Ball funneled into the middle of the park where Disasi was waiting on the penalty spot, but it was Chalobah who got there first and hit it out towards this near side and out for a throw-in to Newcastle.
That's one thing you will get with Livramento, is run after run after run to support Almiron, get by him. You should have played him in a couple of minutes ago, actually, when Almiron crossed.
Well, we've played 10 minutes and Chelsea lead by a goal to nil. The goal for Nicholas Jackson. Offside flag is up against Almiron this near side. That was a pretty wasted move, that, by Newcastle, because they had the throw-in in an advanced area and they've gifted Chelsea possession back with just a little bit of laziness.
Lack of thought more than anything. Just what you know you're offside. Just move quicker. Will do Chelsea players the world of good, and the fans, that early goal. They can settle now and there won't be that anxiety to try and get forward too quickly and too anxious with the ball. They can build up at their own pace.
Yeah, Botman's clearance was the one that went out towards Cole Palmer. Jackson with a little touch just inside the box. Palmer still smiling. He doesn't care that the goal's going the way of his teammates. He just cares that it's 1-0 to Chelsea. Eddie Howe's Black and White Army is the cheer from the shed end away to our left, where the Newcastle supporters had come down on this Monday night. Big trip for them, 6.5-hour journey to come and watch their team down here this evening. And it's their team who have the ball on this near side. We've had just over 12 minutes played. Livramento moving up to halfway, just cuts in from the right side. A little mistake by Willock, but he did well enough to be able to just judge it back to Livramento, out wide towards the left, and now Gordon takes it and then is dispossessed by Malagusto. Good running by him, strong running by him. Chelsea turn it over. Gallagher now on the right. Palmer joining the attack. Right angle of the penalty area. Left-footed drive towards the near post, and it goes into the arms of the goalkeeper Dubravka. He did have options there, Cole Palmer, but decided to go for goal.
Too easy from Gordon, lost the ball. Gusto did really well. But then when Palmer's getting the ball, you know he's not going to beat you for speed. He's going to chop and get shots off. So Dan Burn's got to go closer. Can't just give him a free shot.
Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0 on Talksport with Now. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Newcastle live right now. Contract free with a Now membership. Search Now Sports. Ball on halfway. And it's picked up by Cher, who pings it beautifully out towards the left-hand side. Gusto gets across. And it's put out over on the far side. Adam Sandler's here tonight at Stamford Bridge. Big fan of Adam Sandler, are you?
I don't mind him, yeah. Not bad.
Big Daddy, that was a good film. Bit heartbreaking, but it's a good film. Liked it.
Yeah, what was the one? Was it where him and all his mates from when they were kids get together? Quite enjoyed that one. Can't remember what it was called now.
It's obviously left a lasting impression.
Oh no, you know, I've watched hundreds of films. Memory ain't what it once was.
Ball driven forward by Cher, and then he unleashes a shot from 40 yards, which doesn't test Petrovic and goes behind away to our right.
Grown-ups.
The one with
Grown-ups.
Yeah, we're looking after the babies in the park. Is that it? Yeah. I haven't seen it. Well, I think I might have done. I can't remember. My memory isn't what it is either. What it was, eh? Where are we? 14 minutes gone. Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0.
Nice high press from Newcastle. See how high they're starting. Chelsea playing it around their own box. Good to see that from Newcastle. We saw it many times last season. Really making teams trying to play through them, which we haven't seen as much this season when on the road.
They were really good in Europe at doing it, actually. Yeah. That was one of the things that was a sort of major facet of their game in Europe. They got a 0-0 draw in Milan by doing that. Although they rode their luck that night, must be said.
They did.
But they were on Chelsea there and forcing Chelsea into an error. They didn't win the ball. It went out of play and away for a Chelsea throw. Not as tight to Chalobah there, and he's allowed to ping the ball from right to left looking for Sterling, and almost found him as well, but Livramento was alert to the danger, went scurrying back into the right full-back position and headed the ball into the arms of Dubravka. It's 1-0 to Chelsea, and we haven't played quarter of an hour yet.
Livramento looks a wonderful player. I'm absolutely amazed that he got left out of the team recently when he had that wonderful run earlier in the season in the team, and then when the players got fit they left him out again, which was absolutely bizarre to me.
Were they just managing his minutes, Danny, because he had a very serious injury which basically meant he hardly played any football for nearly 2 years?
Maybe just got trud on there, but he's certainly someone Gareth Southgate will be watching. Let's hope this ain't too bad.
He's gone down holding his left ankle after a collision with Mark Cucurella, who's back in the team after a series of injuries that he's been suffering with since December the 10th. Livramento in pink boots, just getting slowly to his feet rather gingerly down in front of the dugouts, in front of the huge east stand that we're at the back of here at Stamford Bridge before we wait for play to resume.
See, I can't believe this player's wearing gloves. It's not even cold.
I've got gloves on tonight.
Yeah, but you're sat in the stand. They're running around. You're boiling hot when you run around.
Gallagher, he's not got gloves on. Nah. Pokes the ball forward into Sterling. Tries to flick it round the corner into Jackson. Jackson on halfway, dispossessed by Miguel Almiron. I heard you say earlier, actually, that you thought that Miguel Almiron hasn't made as much of an impact this season as last year. And that is definitely true statistically. Last year was his most prolific season in England. This year he's scored once in 23 games.
Well, I mean, he set the bar high last year. It was a brilliant season for him, and unfortunately, when you produce that type of season, you're always going to be judged on it, and he's fallen below.
It's probably a sort of maxim for the whole season for Newcastle as a club.
Absolutely.
Jackson does well to twist out of a position that was tight on the far side, and he feeds Gusto, who moves into the box, and he gives it to Cole Palmer. Good tackle from Dan Burn coming in from left back to poke it away from Palmer, who was just about to pull the trigger inside the box. It's on to Enzo Fernandez to Gallagher, and then back out towards the far side. Caicedo into Gallagher once more, and then to halfway, and Chelsea are bossing it at this moment in time.
Much better from Dan Burn, but he shouldn't have been put in a position. Anthony Gordon gave up on Gusto. I don't know why he gave up on him. He let him run in and then left him. But just when Palmer gets in, you think he's going to shoot. It's a brilliant recovery from Dan Burn. That's what I'm talking about, getting tighter and closer, because he's capable of that.
Yeah, I was talking to Sean Dyche at the weekend, and he said something which resonated with me, and it was about the Everton forwards, but it applies to defending just as much as it does to forwards. He said, I walked into the dressing room, I'm talking about the number of chances that we've missed over a series of weeks and months and whatever, and all I hear is, you just got there first, or that defender just got in front of me at the last minute. And he said, how about he doesn't? Sometimes you've got to get hurt to score a goal.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think that even when they have got there first, they've just lacked that bit of quality, Everton.
There's a bit of that as well, no doubt. It's a variety of factors, I think, with them. Here is Jackson. He sends it forward looking for Gusto on the right-hand side. And
Gordon left him again.
Chelsea have had their problems taking their chances, Danny, over the course of the season themselves. Not Everton levels of finishing mishaps, but they are second on the list of that metric that Sean Dyche is fed up with hearing about. There have been one or two signs recently that they've got better at taking their chances. Here's Newcastle, though, at the other end, with Isaac leading the charge, then leaving it for Gordon, who's cut in towards the edge of the penalty area. Isaac steps over it. The ball runs through towards the right side. Livramento tries to steer it centrally. Cucurella comes across, blocks it, and it goes out for a throw-in down by the corner flag away to our right-hand side. Chelsea 1, Newcastle United 0, 19 minutes played.
Better from Newcastle. Nice and sharp and crisp with the passing. Again, Anthony Gordon involved. There was an interesting stat I heard earlier, you might be able to confirm it, but it was that Chelsea's second half performances would put them in to 17th in the Premier League.
Yes, they are, which significantly better in the first than they are in the second.
That is a real concern for any manager.
8th if they were judged only on their first 45 minutes of matches.
That's a real concern, because that's a mixture of physicality and mindset.
I mean, you look at Liverpool and the way that they come good in the second half of games. I mean, their table would be completely different if they only were judged by their first halves instead of their seconds. But the second half showing, I think, shows squad depth and the impact from bench. But
it
also
shows a lack of belief, and it shows a lack of fitness. And they're two really worrying things. You would much rather have a poor first half to have to deal with than a team that struggles in the second half. Because then at least you know it's not a physical thing.
Yeah, you're dying off
in terms of performances. You're only working on one thing, yeah.
1-0. They've taken the lead in this first half here, but Newcastle United certainly not out of it yet. They've got goal threats galore. Here is one of them, Isaac turning, playing it back to Willock, far side. On the touchline is Gordon, another one of those, into Willock once more through the legs of Gallagher. Then a sliding challenge, pushes the ball onto Palmer. Gallagher tries to get forward, Burn did well. And then Newcastle rob possession and moving down the right side. It's a poor ball by Longstaff, and even worse one by Cucurella. Somehow Chelsea got away with it, and Sterling is away over the halfway line. Livramento cuts across him, does well. Sterling does very well to feed Jackson, who strikes from distance. And again, it was a little bit speculative that, because Chelsea just about got away from Livramento, who was getting back at him and showed his good turn of pace, but Sterling uses experience to put his body across the youngster, feed Jackson, and Jackson's effort was tame.
It's a great strength from Sterling. Good battle that could be tonight. I don't blame Jackson for having a go from there. He's close enough, his confidence is up, doesn't quite catch it, but why not? Got himself in a good position.
Well, he scored in each of the last two games before tonight, Jackson. It's 3 in a row now for him. 12th goal of the season, and has now levelled things up with Cole Palmer in the ongoing duel to be Chelsea's top goal scorer this season. Isaac picking the ball up inside the Chelsea half. And it going out towards Jackson, who then gave it back to Guimaraes. On the halfway line is Sven Botman. His clearance will come under scrutiny. And then Dan Burn plays it out towards the far side. Collected by Anthony Gordon tickles it down the touchline for Joe Willock to chase down the corner. Across comes Axel Disasi, puts the ball out of play, and it's a throw into Newcastle. Gordon into Isaac, back to Gordon again. Disasi away. On the edge of the box is Fernandez, who pushes it wide towards the right. Caicedo wants to play it down towards Cole Palmer. He had to delay it to make sure the movement was right. He's fed him now, and Palmer is twisting and turning past Byrne, laying it to the edge of the area. It's Enzo Fernandez who's taken too many touches and delayed the shot, and then tried to bend it round the Newcastle defender who came towards him. It was Longstaff in the end who got closest to him, and it went way over the top of the bar.
Cole Palmer again, isn't it? As soon as they get the ball to him, something's going to happen. He's so comfortable and confident. He always waits and sees the right picture, seems to make the right decision. He twists and turns, comes inside. Good final pass. Didn't quite get his touch right, Fernandez.
Ball out wide into the feet of Cole Palmer. Caicedo back to halfway, where Gusto has it. Currently Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0, and the latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Chelsea to go on and win at 5-2 on. Newcastle available to win at 7-2. The draw is 13-2. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+ begambleaware.org. Livramento thinks he was fouled on this near touchline, and the referee John Brooks has I think given a throw-in on this near side. Tino Livramento, no, he's going to give the free kick. Tino Livramento wanted a little bit more punishment than that. No, it is a throw-in on this near side that he's going to give John Brooks.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, it's no big deal because of where it is, but it was a free kick. It's a poor challenge.
Ball loose on halfway. Jackson does well to win it despite the attentions of Guimaraes, and then Palmer takes it in, sends it forward. Jackson trying to run in behind. Botman gets back, hooks it clear before Jackson can get there, but only as far as Gusto, who's taken it back on down the right side. Now by the byline is Palmer, tries to pull it back, plays it against Guimaraes, who takes it out towards the corner. Palmer drags him from behind, drags him to the floor, gives away a free kick. It certainly was.
Well, they're going to have a problem, Newcastle, a huge problem, if Anthony Gordon's going to let Gusto go and join Cole Palmer and play 2v1 on the right hand side. Now, whether that's deliberate, whether he's allowed to do that because they want him to use all his energy going forward, I doubt, knowing Eddie Howe's teams. But 3-4 times he's let him go, and on that one it was a 2v1 and Palmer nearly got in. I think it was Bruno Guimaraes got over there to help. But it's too far, it's too big a distance for the midfielders to cover to get over there when there's a 2v1. He can't just wait for the ball to come. I mean, defensively, actually, Gordon's normally very, very good. He just seems to be switched off a little bit on that transition at the moment, and Gusto's really taking advantage of it.
Fernandez out towards the near side. Cucurella picks it up, moves it down the left wing position for Jackson to chase. Livramento comes across, and Jackson just sort of edged him off the ball, and Livramento went down and won the free kick. There wasn't too much in that, but enough for the referee, John Brooks, to give a foul. And Tino Livramento is the subject of more Newcastle chance.
He got his pace, got him there just before. Jackson's super athlete. With the problems we've got at fullback, he'd 100% be in my England squad.
So the England squad is announced on Thursday at 2 p.m. Kieran Trippier has been talking highly of young Tino Livramento, suggesting that he believes that he should be the England right back for Newcastle and for England going forward. Obviously he holds that position at this moment in time, and he said, but I don't want to be selfish, so I have been helping him out. Sterling on the cusp of the centre circle, playing it out towards Gusto, who joins the attack. Palmer's on the outside. Gusto goes it alone. Ball into the near post, cleared by Botman. Hooked away by Byrne. Edge of the area is Caicedo. Encouraged to shoot. Takes a step forward and then falls as he goes to hit it. It was engaged by Longstaff, and the ball dribbles behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. 26 gone.
They're swapping already. Eddie Howe is swapping Gordon and Almiron because they can see Gordon's not coping with Gusto's runs. I find that really hard to understand, because I'd be saying to Anthony Gordon first and foremost, start tracking your runner. Just because he changes size doesn't mean he's going to start doing it. You've got to give him a kick on the backside.
Caicedo almost took off Isaac's head there.
To change it after 25 minutes.
What does that say about Anthony Gordon's work rate or tactical nous? What's the problem?
He's normally good at it. So he's capable, so it's not a physical thing.
So maybe he's feeling off colour or something.
Maybe. Could be anything. You know, I remember doing a piece on him in the Arsenal home game when the two wide men, I think it was him and Almiron, were absolutely outstanding with the defensive work, doubling up against Saka and Martinelli.
Gallagher leading the press for Chelsea, causing problems for Bruno Guimaraes. The ball sent down towards the left for Newcastle, who did beat the press momentarily. Almiron played it into Willett, but it went straight out of play because Willett couldn't control it. It's back with Axel Disasi.
Thing is, Sam, you know, he saves off colour or he's not well. If you can't track your runner, you can't play. He's got to be fine.
Well, certainly he has caused them a little bit of grief down that right-hand side.
From an attacking point of view, but all Chelsea's best attacks come down the right because they've got 2v1. It's been easy for Gusto,
Too easy for Palmer and Gusto to combine on that right-hand side and get into crossing positions. And Chelsea don't really take too many chances, but they've taken the one that's come their way so far tonight. 1-0 they lead, and we've got good 18 minutes before half-time here. And it's with Sven Botman of the Netherlands, shuffling between one side of the centre circle and the other, gives it to Fabian Schär. Schär, the player that Eddie Howe relies on the most, elevates the ball out to Gordon, who flicks it on into the path of Livramento. Livramento trying to take it down the right touchline. Chalobah goes in with a challenge. It hits Livramento last and goes out for a goal kick away square right. Big night for Trevor Chalobah tonight. He is a player who Chelsea made clear could leave last summer. He's making his 150th club appearance today. He missed the first 6 months of the season with injury, but has played in each of the last 4 games. An opportunity to stake a claim in the absence of quite a few of the injured centre-halves. Colwill, Badiashile, Thiago Silveroni on the bench tonight. A ball down the left, Almiron trying to get into an advanced position. Gusto with a good challenge. It comes off Almiron, the Paraguayan, and bumps behind and away for a goal kick to our right.
Better from Dan Burn, nice on the front foot, intercepted, and then they're out, then they're breaking. There's chances here for Newcastle. If they can get a bit more quality and settled in the final third, there's plenty of chances for them.
I read tonight in the matchday programme that the next goal that Chelsea score, so they've got their 3,999 tonight with Jackson, will be their 4,000th league goal. And they scored their 5,000th goal at Stamford Bridge a couple of weeks or 36 days ago. Nicholas Jackson scoring that. And he's got the one that separates the two teams tonight. Ball pummeled forward by Chalobah. Doesn't reach Sterling, but bounces back into the path of Fernandes in the centre circle, out wide towards the left. Chelsea have looked effective on the ball. Haven't conceded too many chances today to Newcastle as of yet. Just one goal attempt, none on target. They've had 6 Chelsea, 3 on target.
Well played.
And they've had their best spells down the right-hand side. And Cole Palmer has been at the heart of what has been good about them. Here is Enzo Fernandez. Caicedo stretching back into Enzo Fernandez again. Cucurella comes out on this near side, pushes it forward. It's funneled by Caicedo into Sterling, back out towards Cucurella, whose next ball, the final ball into Jackson, wasn't very good. And then Gordon robs it, plays it forward quickly. Goalkeeper's come a very long way, Petrovic, and intervened well. And then it's cleared out towards the halfway line. Almiron's won it back after good work from Willock. Now Gordon motors forward. He pushes it on to Isak. Isak now just funnels up and faces up Gallagher. Gets on the right-hand side. Gallagher with a really good tackle. Sliding in. His right foot extended like Inspector Gadget. And wrapping it around Isak and poking it out of play and away for a throw.
Two good patches of play from both teams. Chelsea had a nice move down this left-hand side. Nice one-touch play. Bit of confidence. And then Newcastle down the right-hand side, starting to gain a little bit of ground down that right-hand side with Livramento.
They've had more of the ball, 55% possession so far, Newcastle United, and they beat an injury hit Wolverhampton Wanderers last week, scored 3 times. They can be ruthless. They scored 4 against Chelsea in the first meeting of the 2 earlier in the season. And Livramento dwelling on the ball once again. Enzo Fernandez fouled him.
Dwelling on the ball. He's comfortable. Dwelling on the ball, it sounds negative, I think.
Why?
Well, if you're dwelling on the ball, you shouldn't be.
Why? Dwell means to be at home.
Well, no, you're just being a pedant.
You're being a pedant.
In a commentary sense, if you say he's dwelling on the ball, it sounds a little bit negative, don't you think? He wasn't. He was comfortable on the ball, moving with it, and he got fouled. Okay. I wouldn't say he was dwelling on it then.
Okay.
I would say he was progressing with it. No?
Yeah, fine. I'll listen. I'll listen. I'll listen to you.
No, maybe it's a small detail. I just thought it sounded a little bit unfair because he got fouled as he was moving with the ball to say he was dwelling on it.
Ball sent forward by Guimaraes over on the far side, headed on into the penalty area, but it's not a great header, and it comes back to Gordon, who strikes it, hits Cucurella, who celebrates the fact that he blocked that, and it goes out for a corner away to our right-hand side as Newcastle progress the ball forward.
It was half a chance, wasn't it? I actually thought Andy Gordon might be able to take that a little bit quicker. Just sat up and didn't come down, but it didn't come down quickly enough. When it did come down, defender got a little bit closer and narrowed the angle. Bit tighter touch there.
Anthony Gordon has it on the near side to take this corner. The ball was sufficiently overhanging the quadrant. That's all it has to do. But talking of pedants,
I was going to say.
Played short to Willock on the edge of the area, back into centre field, and here is Tino Livramento, who takes on Sterling, comes back in on his right foot, then is pressurised by Caicedo. It's pushed forward at pace by Guimaraes. I think he was looking for Isaac there, but Willock got in the way. The ball runs to the near side, and it goes out for a throw into Chelsea on this right side. Pochettino's gone down the touchline, trying to encourage his team just to get a little bit further forward. He's got a sense that maybe they're dropping a little bit deeper here.
So I'm all for innovation and mixing things up a little bit, but when you've got three giants in the box waiting for a corner to come in, and then you end up nearly back to your halfway line without crossing the ball. I know Livramento then went forward again, but why are they going running 70 yards up the pitch to then run back without even having an opportunity to fight for a header? Just bizarre, especially when you're 1-0 down.
This is a Newcastle team that has scored a lot of goals in 2024 in the Premier League. Only Arsenal and Liverpool scored more during that period. And Chelsea shipped goals, 12 in their last 5 Premier League matches. And there was rancour and discord at the Brentford game the other week.
There was what?
Rancour and discord. And they were calling Todd Bowley every name under the sun, the Chelsea fans. They weren't too happy with Maurizio Pochettino either. But I think they'll be a little bit happier with the opening half an hour here. And they've given away a free kick midway inside their own half of the field. Gordon was the subject of a bit too much attention. I think the Chelsea fans are getting a little bit annoyed about the fact that free kicks seem to be going against them.
Well, they are fouled, most of them. You know, I think as long as Chelsea stay compact, and those little fouls, those little niggly ones don't tend to get yellow cards.
Score is Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. Gordon getting stretched out here. Oh, didn't like that, whatever that was applied to him by the physio. He went jumping up, springing up. He was laying down the floor, then all of a sudden he was knee-jerked into a reaction.
Yep, something sensitive, obviously. Really don't want to be losing him, do they?
No, not at this stage of the season when there is so much for them still to fight for. Look, they know that Europe is a stretch, a challenge for top 5 is certainly an overreach. But if they win tonight, they go 7th, and maybe that Europa League place isn't out of reach. Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe, I think, are going to replace Anthony Gordon here, which might suggest that maybe all wasn't right from the start, bearing in mind the evidence that we've seen of his performance.
Yeah, I think that could be fair. Because as I said, I've seen him do his defensive work really well at times for Newcastle. He's not generally lazy, but Gusto was flying by him and he was jogging back.
Well, they have lost him. He is going to be replaced here. Anthony Gordon, who is very popular with the Newcastle fans. He's just taking a jaunt down towards the tunnel. And it's Jacob Murphy who comes on for him. And that's a disappointing moment for Eddie Howe, who's just walked over to have a word with his number 10, who's explaining the issues he's got. I think to his left knee, I think is the issue. And he's going down the tunnel immediately to get further treatment. Here is the free kick then. Almiron leaves it for Murphy, whose first touch of the ball is to swish it in towards the back post. It was a good delivery as well.
Brilliant
delivery. It went
delivery.
scything through the 18-yard box, and Chalobah and Disassi were trying to defend it, but it missed everyone and went out for a goal kick. But it was some delivery.
I'll tell you what made the delivery even better. It was his first touch. Yeah.
Just off the bench.
I know, his toes are probably a bit cold as well. Like Colwell's.
Big day tomorrow for Talksport. First of all, when we wake up at 6 o'clock, everyone will just be waiting to hear those strains of Big Al's voice, just to make sure that he's made it. I think he said he wasn't going to have a pint of Guinness until tomorrow at 10 o'clock, 10:15. He said he would pull the first one in the Guinness tent this morning when I was listening to the breakfast show. But 2024's Cheltenham Festival does get underway tomorrow. We've got you all the exciting action, and I'm not just talking about Al in the morning, all the races in H&J. 4 races, including the feature race from 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Well worth a listen.
Do you have a bet, Sam?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I love Cheltenham. It's one of big things, I think, over the course of the sporting calendar, and I will be glued to every single race. I did have the opportunity to go on Wednesday, but
going to Bournemouth.
I decided to go Bournemouth versus Luton.
Yeah.
Here is Murphy on the right-hand side, getting into the wing position. Produced across towards the middle of the goal, and Willock had made a brilliant run but couldn't get on the end of it. On the other side, Almiron into the centre. Willock is there again over the bar. And what a chance that was. And Murphy's delivery on a couple of occasions now has already unsettled the Chelsea team that has just regressed a little bit too deep in the last 10 minutes or so, Dan.
It was a brilliant ball. I'd have to see it again, but my first instinct is, why is he not flying in with his head? It looks like he's trying to stretch, maybe to volley it high. And if you're doing that, you feel like you can get your head to it, but we'd have to see that. A great run from Willock and a superb ball from Murphy. And then when it came back across, you fancied him again, but just seems to sky it as it come at him really kind of mid-high and fast. But much better from Newcastle.
Well, Chelsea's issues at the back exposed by a couple of wide deliveries from Jacob Murphy, not attacking the ball. And they haven't kept a clean sheet in 8 games, Chelsea. There are reasons for that. The disruption of the personnel at the back, that's one of them. Here's Palmer down. Caicedo's ball to Palmer wasn't great. Went straight to Dan Burn, who's in the left full-back position for Newcastle. And Chelsea, who haven't seen much of the ball in Newcastle territory for a while now, have lost it again.
Good tackle from Willock. Good battle that was between him and Caicedo. They've had a couple of rumble tumbles.
Yes, has been since minute 1. Sterling and Livramento have been involved in a bit of a duel as well, and Sterling has just fouled Livramento rather cynically, and he's going to get the first yellow card of the game. On this near side, as Livramento was charging forward, Sterling went out to meet him. He was late and he tripped him.
I've got to apologise, I don't know what that was, rumble and tumble. I don't know what, do you know what I mean by that? A little rumble and tumble?
I know what I mean by rumble and tumble. I don't think it's the same thing.
Oh, you worrying me now.
6 minutes to go before half-time. They've had a running battle, I think. Hey, I don't want to be pedant about language.
You mean pedantic?
I said I don't want to be a pedant.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be a running theme, isn't it?
No, we'd let it go. Sometimes you just got to let things go.
Yeah, absolutely. Free kick for Newcastle, and Murphy is on it again. Right-footed, another good delivery, and this time just a little bit further out when Isaac contacted it with his head. And it was going to be difficult for him to get the right level of power and direction on that. And as it was, it looped into the air and went behind and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. So it's 1-0 to Chelsea, but I think it's been quite a frustrating 10 or 15 minutes. And Raheem Sterling and Pochettino are involved in a bit of a confrontation down in front of us. Sterling not happy with the instructions that are either coming his way or the feedback that is coming his way. Ever fallen out with a coach on the sidelines?
Not to a level of any problems. I've had opinions and difference of them, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Well, Craig Pawson just having to step in and not separate, but just stand in the way of Pochettino, who's trying to get on the pitch to have a word with.
Well, I tell you what
Sterling.
he's done. He's put Gallagher on the left, probably to try and stop Livramento, and he's put Sterling in behind Jackson.
Here is Enzo Fernandez on halfway for Chelsea, who have just ceded momentum to Newcastle. Enzo Fernandez, I do not know why he was trying to flick the ball between his own legs on halfway in that position when it was clearly played at a pace and he was tight to the touchline. He didn't find Gallagher, he found touch, and it's a Newcastle ball.
Yeah, definitely a poor decision. But in terms of tactical, he's changed it. Jackson stays where he is. Sterling's going to join him as a 10, but probably join him, try and run behind when they get some good possession. And Gallagher has been given the job of trying to stop Livramento, I'd imagine.
Do always feel a little bit sorry for Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, so do I.
He's sort of like jack of all trades, isn't he?
Well, do you know what it is, Sam? He is given roles because he's so disciplined and so reliable, and that's a big compliment to him.
And the ball down the right looking for Livramento, and Gallagher is quickly over there to try and stop him. He comes inside Gallagher and feeds the ball into Isaac, and then the ball breaks off Isaac, who didn't take a great touch, and then Fernandez gives it straight back again. Guimaraes came across on the press. Here's Livramento right side. He's got space out on the right for Jacob Murphy. Murphy is engaged by Gallagher, who wins it back and then tees it up for Cucurella. And now Chelsea should pass their way out of trouble, although Gallagher hasn't got any options here when he's tight to the touchline. Gives it back to Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez trying to swing it forward, does so, but he's only going to find Dan Burn. Caicedo will win it back. Gusto will get hold of it, and then Gusto will do his best to give it back again. Ball elevated forward, away by Chalobah. Chalobah is overstretched here. Guimaraes wins it back. Bit of space on the left here for Isaac, who shoots towards the far corner supremely. Absolutely superb finish. Into the far corner and away to the far side to celebrate. It's a terrific Newcastle goal, scored by one of the best finishers in the country, Alexander Isak. Take a bow, fella. Edge of the area, on his right foot, one touch into the far corner. Petrovic nowhere. The goal's been coming. Chelsea 1, Newcastle 1.
Well, you're spot on, Sam. The goal has been coming. And from this deep position, they try and play the way out, and it ends up with Fernandez, who tries to play a crossfield ball across his box. Well, I mean, out of his box, but across the pitch. And Dan Burn what's the word I'm looking for? Intercepts. And then when they get it back, it ends up back into a little bit scrappy. And by the time it comes to Isak on the left-hand side, he's one-on-one with Disasi. You think, show us a trick. No, hits it early, bends it round him, far corner, keeper's bottom left. Brilliant finish from someone actually who I think should have been doing better in the last couple of attacks they've had, where he's given the ball away. But that's why he's in the team.
His goal record is terrific. Yeah. 16 goals now in 28 appearances and 7 goals in his last 10 games. That is a record of an incredibly good finisher, yeah. And he belongs in that category. Pochettino could sniff it. He felt it was coming. He was asking his team to get up the pitch.
Well, he was also changing positions of players because he was worried about Newcastle in the ascendancy. And they deserve credit, Newcastle, because after they went a goal down, they did look defensively a little bit lethargic, not quite at it, and they've got themselves together and deserved it, haven't they, really? In the last 10 or 15 minutes, they've been well on top.
Absolutely. And it was a really good goal from the Swedish international. And it's 1-1, and that was their first shot on target of the game. And Chelsea now, after a good start to the game, have found themselves pegged back. I think you might have heard that before somewhere.
See, I still think I'd be looking at Palmer playing in a more number 10 role for Chelsea. You know, when he's the best player they've got, and when you play centrally, you get on the ball more, especially at home.
Here is Palmer on the ball, bringing the ball down and sending it over the top, and Sterling and Jackson are running in behind here, and Jackson tries to feed the ball towards the left. He goes past the defender, shoots to the far corner and scores, but the offside flag goes up against him. And I did wonder when the ball went over the top, whether or not he was just maybe a smidgen offside. They will check this on VAR. I think Sterling might have been onside and therefore would have been the better option to run onto the ball. Both of them had the opportunity to. Jackson took charge and he dispatched it, but immediately the offside flag went up. VAR have checked it and it was the correct call.
Well, just as I was talking about Palmer, he drifts inside, gets the ball centrally and plays a lovely little ball over the top. It must have been tight. It didn't look clear and obvious. I would say clear and obvious. It didn't look clear from where we are. And we're in a good line. Got away with it, Newcastle. Switched off because that was a tight one.
Ball's loose inside the Newcastle half, and Conor Gallagher has raced forward. He's got 4 black and white shirts around him. surrounding him, trying desperately to stop him from going any further. They do pinch it, and Willock brings it towards halfway. I just wonder whether or not Jackson should have just left that for Sterling to run, because I think Sterling was in an onside position.
To be honest, I'm amazed they got to that decision that quickly.
Have a look at the replay. It's on your monitor to your left-hand side now.
Yeah.
Sterling was onside, wasn't he? Sterling was onside.
He was, but even he wouldn't have been in on goal, would he?
He might not have got to the ball as quickly as Jackson did without any impediment. But he
well done to the officials. Nice and dealt with nicely and nice and quickly, I should say.
46 minutes on the clock. We've got, I didn't see how much 4 minutes of added time. I did see it. I was in the middle of discussing the offside goal at the time. That's the first real sort of foray that Chelsea have had going forward for quite some while. They might get another opportunity here, but Jackson couldn't hold on to the ball. He's won it back, though, deep inside his own half. Back to Chalobah, and then out from Fernandes into Gallagher on this near side. Chelsea, who have made a tactical switch, but have conceded the goal that Pochettino felt was coming.
They do look dangerous, actually, Chelsea, when Newcastle lose the ball in the Chelsea, on the transition, the space.
Yeah. That's
when they look the most dangerous, not when they build up slowly. But we've said that before about Chelsea, haven't we? He didn't half dispatch it well, Jackson.
Well, he's growing in confidence, I think, actually. 3 goals in 3 games for him now for Chelsea in the Premier League. Certainly feels as if he's starting to find a little bit more goal-scoring form. It's a lovely ball into the box for Willock. Willock in behind, tries to poke it over the top of the goalkeeper, but the offside flag was up anyway, and it went over the bar, so it wouldn't have counted. And it's going to be a free kick away to our right hand
side. It might not have counted, Sam, but that was a beautiful pass. I mean, a really exquisite pick out that. I think it was Bruno, dropped off, got hold of it, and
he's got the ability to do that, sort of slip into the quarterback position and fire those balls forward into areas where attackers can latch onto them. Chelsea,
and Willock gives you that run as well. The deeper runs, he comes from deep, doesn't he? He loves to break the lines late, and it's a real asset to have him back.
He scored a brilliant goal actually against Manchester United earlier in the season, the League Cup. It was terrific. And remember when he first came into Newcastle, he basically almost single-handedly kept them up. Here is Gusto down the right side, combining with Palmer. A lovely run into the box now. He's still going, tries to steer it centrally, but he couldn't pick out Sterling. It was blocked and it goes out to the far side. Palmer trying to wriggle away from the grasp of Dan Burn. He twists and turns him beautifully and then plays it through his legs. Gusto down the right side, tries to tee up a cross. He bends it towards Gallagher, who's reaching for it. He sets it back for Sterling, takes the touch, fires it goalward, saved by Dubravka. It was straight at him. Good move by Chelsea and good work by Gallagher to nod that down into the path of Raheem Sterling when he was stretching really to get the header, and Sterling couldn't take the chance that was provided to him.
Brilliant move from Chelsea, down that right side again. It was Almiron's matching Gusto's run for 50-60 yards. That's why he got switched over there. Gusto did brilliantly, and Palmer again linking up. Ends up with Sterling straight down the keeper's throat, but much better finish at the end of the half by Chelsea.
Yes, well, certainly they started better and took the lead very early in the game, thanks to a goal from Nicholas Jackson created by Cole Palmer. They then dropped off, invited pressure. Newcastle took advantage with a brilliant finish from Alexander Isak to make it 1-1. Chelsea stung into action, came back into it right at the end of the first half. Overall, even Steven in that first 45 minutes. Nothing to separate 10th and 11th in the Premier League table. Half-time at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Newcastle 1.
And Danny Murphy, let's talk about the 2 goals. And there's a theme there because people understandably go on about the cost of this Chelsea side, but they're so young as well. Sterling's 29, Disasi 26, the rest are all 25 or under. Nicholas Jackson's only 22 and he's got 9 Premier League goals. In the absence of the injured Nkunku, he's done well stepping up to that goal-scoring play. We've seen 2 good finishes from him. The second one was rightly ruled out for offside. Well done, officials. But I think that the first finish is really cute and clever, the little flick.
Really cute. And I do you know what? I think Chelsea's predicament this season has been detrimental to him because he's got himself in so many wonderful positions in games and missed a lot of chances, but kept getting himself in there. He'll play on the left, he'll play on the right, he'll play down the middle, and he's game. And he's a young man learning his trade. He wasn't expected to play this many games, I don't think, when he was brought in. He's come in and he's done all right.
Yeah, I like him.
I like him. He must be a real handful to play against. Now, he's not the finished article, and he's not particularly elegant with his finishing at times, but he keeps himself in there. And I love that about any player, that willingness to keep putting yourself in a position to fail.
The second goal, the equaliser for Newcastle, is a brilliant finish from Isak. That's what he can do. He's a top quality striker, but this is the inexperience of Chelsea. 3 or 4 chances to get the ball away, to take control of the football, take control of that situation, and they just kept letting Newcastle back in, and by the time Isak's got the ball, they're all over the place at the back.
Well, do you know what? It all started, down here in the left corner, where they're having 10, 12 passes in little triangles, and you're thinking, where are you going there? You're locked in, you've got to get out. Now, Fernandes tried to get it out, big, long, too high, wide.
Cross-field as well.
Cross-field, yeah, and Dan Burn intercepted. But then they won it back again, and as you say, the inexperience, we'll try and play again. When you're under... Newcastle have had 10 or 15, probably 15 minutes of pressure. There's times in a game where someone needs to make the decision, let's get the ball up, let's try and get up the pitch. We are constantly under pressure at the moment, and that's what you're talking about, the decision-making of young players to those senior ones. My early years in Liverpool, I had some wonderful senior players who would guide you through things like that. Gary Mack, Dietmar Hamann, people who had played at a high level and just guide you and talk to you and tell you and shout you, send it or whatever, little simple thing. That there was a giveaway for them, really.
Chelsea senior player Sterling was having a row with Pochettino at the time, I think. Breakfast live from Cheltenham for the start of the festival tomorrow morning with Alan Brazil. This morning they were also in Cheltenham, and at the end of the show they played some of your WhatsApp voice note messages encouraging Alan to make sure he makes it to all 5 breakfast shows at Cheltenham this week. The last message was a surprise to Alan. It was brilliant. It was one of his daughters saying he has to make all 5 shows, otherwise he won't be able to afford her wedding. Absolutely brilliant stuff on the breakfast show this morning, and they're back tomorrow from Cheltenham live at 6 a.m. I'll be on at 7. Former Arsenal title winner Nigel Winterburn will be on as well. Former jockey Tom Scudmore's on. Dean Saunders gets involved from 8. Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist live from Cheltenham, 6 a.m. Talksport.
Monday game night on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Hope there won't be any VAR delays today. Heard that rumour about their striker. Can't wait to see what the pundits make of that booking. Looking forward to the match report on this one. When it comes to football, never miss a story. Get the best news, opinion, interviews and gossip at thesun.co.uk. For the football lowdown every day, it's thesun.co.uk.
When the kids eat us out of house and home, we just eat groceries from Sainsbury's.
Yeah, shopping's here! Give me those! Little, come on!
When do they leave home?
Get Sainsbury's, Asda and Co-op delivered for free. For groceries and everything else,
did somebody say just eat?
Participate in stores. A minimum spend applies. Other charges apply. Subject to availability. See justeat.co.uk for details.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate, because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with a 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Don't break your stride. Hurry to Screwfix for unmissable deals on trade essentials. Big paint job on? Buy the Fortress Big Box Set for $27.99 and get a half-price extension pole for just $7.47. Patios and driveways in need of a clean? Get the Titan Pressure Washer for just $59.99. Shop now on the app, at screwfix.com or in store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until at least April 1st, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
A little story is easy to share. We can meet pink unicorns, pirates and bears. We can even be pilots, fly to faraway places. The magic is waiting, so let's open the pages.
A little story could make a big difference, but 1 in 5 children say they don't own a book. So we've provided over 160 million books since 2013, and we won't stop there. McDonald's. Change a little, change a lot. 19.2% of respondents from a survey of 6,896 children aged 5 to 8, National Literacy Trust 2023.
Monday game night on Talksport with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Newcastle live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Matterface, Monday Night Football. On DAB, online, and on your smart speaker. This is game night.
On Talksport.
Picked up by Gusto. Gallagher went on, he didn't pass him the ball. Instead, he tried to divert it into the near post. It's not a great clearance, that. He comes back towards Jackson, and he's struck by Palmer. Jackson got a little touch, and I think he snuck it into the far corner. Guimaraes wins it back. Bit of space on the left here for Isaac, who shoots towards the far corner supremely. Absolutely superb finish. Into the far corner and away to the far side to celebrate.
Chelsea led, but it's level, live on game night on Talksport. Exclusive Premier League commentary. Chelsea 1, Newcastle United 1. Second half to come. Now, the latest episode of the Sports Book Club with me is now available. You can hear it on Talksport 2 tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. and tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. And with Cheltenham Week underway, we take a look at the book Nicky Henderson, My Life in 12 Horses. Nicky Henderson, Cheltenham legend, top train. His dad saved Cheltenham. Okay, this is how much of a legend Nicky Henderson is. Top trainer, of course. Barry Geraghty, who was Nicky's first jockey for years, is also on the podcast. He recalls the time he made the decision to pull up Sprinter Sacre, the legend, at Kempton in December 2013.
I actually had to go and give him a little squeeze, and the response wasn't there. So I gave him a squeeze 4 straight away, 3 straight away, and the response wasn't coming. So I knew at that moment, before I jumped the fence, I said, that's it, we're done. I'm pulling you up. Something was amiss. I didn't know what it was, but I needed to get him stopped and get him home. And, you know, that's your instinct. That's your intuition kicks in as regards your level of care. So you talk about horsemanship and retirement and the natural want to care for a horse.
I want somebody, by the way, when you listen to the podcast, I want somebody to talk about me the way Barry Geraghty talks about Sprinter Sacre. It's an emotional thing. Both Cheltenham legends, very, very special. The writer Kate Johnson joins us for the podcast as well. That's the Sports Book Club, available to download now from the Outspoken section of the Talksport podcasts on the Talksport app. Subscribe now. You don't miss a thing. And, of course, Alan Brazil at Cheltenham all week live with breakfast tomorrow morning from 6. Let's get the halftime odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So it's 1-1 to win the match here. Chelsea are 5-4. The draw is 17-10. Newcastle 14-5. Nicholas Jackson to score a brace is 3-1. Isaac to score a brace 7-2. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Tomorrow night, Arsenal face Porto in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 match at the Emirates. It's live here on Talksport. The Gunners trail 1-0. Mikel Arteta believes that they need the fans to help them to turn around the deficit tomorrow.
I think the impact that they can make tomorrow, it's incredible. I don't think that they realize. So we need that. We need that noise. We need them playing every single ball with us. And we need that emotional control as well, you know, to understand that the game can go through certain phases and we have to be really intelligent to push in the right moments to get what we want. But it's a beautiful opportunity to live those nights. It's been 14 years. So everything that we put in there is going to be worth it. It's a joy to be part of of this club, to be part of these kind of games, and tomorrow is going to be a great night.
That's Mikel Arteta ahead of tomorrow night's Champions League second leg. If they don't score, they're out. Andy Goldstein and Gabby O'Bonlahor on Drive tomorrow from 4 on Talksport, building up to the game. Darren Bent isn't on Drive tomorrow because he'll be with me and Jim Proudfoot at the Emirates for Arsenal against Porto for that commentary. The Gunners 1 down. There's commentary on Talksport 2 tomorrow night from a game affecting both ends of the League One table as Derby in second place go 2 points behind leaders Portsmouth. They beat Reading, who are 5 points above the bottom 4. The relegation places. And Wednesday we've got live exclusive Premier League commentary on Talksport of Bournemouth against Luton, and we've got a huge game in Europe this Thursday as well. Aston Villa take on Ajax, Europa Conference League round of 16, second leg. It was goalless in Amsterdam. Hugh Wozencroft will be your host for that. Commentary from Joe Shannon and former Liverpool and Villa midfielder Ray Houghton as well. Big game north of the border tonight, the Scottish Cup quarter-final championship. Morton goalless at the moment with Premiership. Hearts winner goes through to the semi-finals to join Rangers Celtic, and Aberdeen. Neil Warner got them to the semi-final, then left the weekend. The draw for those semi-finals will be straight after the game at Capello is finished, and the Scotland manager Steve Clarke is there tonight ahead of naming his latest squad for the 2 games that are up and coming for Scotland. As we await the teams coming out here for the second half, let's just bring in Danny Murphy. What do you think was said by Raheem Sterling in that conversation with Maurizio Pochettino, and how heated do you think it was?
I can only think that Raheem didn't want to move position and told the manager that. That can be my only thing I can think where they would disagree, because obviously if he wanted to move and he was okay with it, there wouldn't have been anything to worry about or have an argument about. Maybe he felt like he was doing okay on the left and therefore changing was going to disrupt him, and told the manager. Ultimately, you then get on with it and do as you're told. I don't think there's anything wrong with expressing your opinion, but then saying, all right, you're the manager, I'll do it.
What's interesting about this is Pochettino yesterday said that if any of his Chelsea players want to, they can go and speak to the owners about having a different coach. I thought it was a very strange thing to come out with. He said if the players believe that with another coach they can do better, I'm the first to say, look, or maybe they can talk with the owner or sporting director, which I thought was an odd thing to say, and then you're openly falling out with your most experienced player on the pitch.
I don't think it's that odd thing to say, because it's actually just something factual. Players do, believe it or not, have conversations with senior figures at the club if they're annoyed or not annoyed, but if they're not happy with their own or their team situation.
You're speaking from experience?
Yes.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Do you care to share?
Well, I've talked about it before. In my my time at Fulham, I was asked by the CEO at the time, initially him, about Sanchez and the tactics and if the players were happy in that. And part of me was, thought to myself, well, I should say the right thing, because the manager's the manager, and or do I just be honest because the club's bigger, more important than me or the manager? And the reality was, the way we were playing, the lads had gone. We were losing every week, and it was long ball nonsense. So I said, if you keep him, we're down. And then I had a conversation with the chairman as well, and told him the same thing. And unfortunately, he got... But I don't think they just spoke to me, by the way. It's not like I was the oracle.
You and Laurie talking still, or not?
I think I've seen him once or twice, and he's probably heard me say the story, but I'm only telling the truth.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about him. It's just he was playing a style that didn't suit. And then the same happened under Mark Hughes. We were struggling, we had injuries, we were near the bottom of the table, and I got a phone call around Christmas from Al Fayed and said, are the players happy, unhappy? And I told him the players liked him, the gaffer was good as gold, we had some injuries, don't worry, we'll be fine.
It happens.
And he stayed.
It happens. I wonder if it's going to happen with Raheem Sterling after that first half. Listen, on the pitch, all to play for here at Stamford Bridge, live on Game Night on Talksport. It's Chelsea 1, Newcastle United 1. We're just underway. Here's Danny Murphy and Sam Matterface.
Hope the boss at Talksport haven't got your number.
Well, actually, I'll have a chat to you about that later.
I didn't know you were the power behind the throne.
Well, I heard they called you about me, but anyway.
Here is Newcastle in possession at the start of the second half, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side in black and white jerseys with black shorts and black socks. The shed end where their supporters are housed in the corner away to our left, and Chelsea in blue shirts and shorts and white socks attacking the Matthew Harding end, which is where their most ferocious fans traditionally are. And Newcastle, who haven't done the double over Chelsea for 37 years, can do that today. They thrashed Chelsea 4-1 up at St James's Park earlier in the season, and they've come from behind here to level things up as the start of the second half takes a similar pattern to the first. Here is Sven Botman, whose poor clearance led to the first goal, out to the left-hand side, and Dan Burn, and then Chalobah just helps it back to his goalkeeper, who's Jordan Petrovic, who plays it rather dicily into Chalobah under a bit of pressure from Isaac, and then decides, actually, let's get ourselves out of problems and send it a little bit further upfield. I'll run through the 2-11s for you in just a second. Here's Gusto, over halfway for Chelsea. On the right side is Palmer, tight to the touchline, just maybe 10 or 15 paces inside opposition territory. Into the centre and Caicedo, then Fernandes, and wider out to Gallagher, where he's been stationed on that left-hand side to protect Chelsea's fullback Cucurella from the attacks, the rampaging attacks of Livramento. Chalobah's given the ball away again, and that's not a great start to the second half for him, and Isaac is now turning it forward, trying to push Newcastle up the pitch. Here's Almer on left side, strikes it, and he pushed it away. Petrovic over the bar and away for the first corner of the second half, and that's twice that Chalobah's made a mistake to give the ball away and hand possession back and impetus to Newcastle.
Creating their own problems, aren't they? There's a little bit of lack of conviction and belief in Chelsea when they're trying to play through the lines in tight areas. It's difficult for them. Good press, by the way, from Newcastle.
Yeah, they deserve credit for that, but Chelsea got to be a little bit decisive. It was no secret that they would do it. They have a corner to defend as well here.
He doesn't look particularly comfortable doing it, Chalobah, to be honest. I don't think that's his strength at all. I mean, he's a hell of a defender, but in terms of his comfortableness on the ball and playing out, it's not his strength.
Short corner taken by Murphy, given to Guimaraes, sent towards the far post, and three of them attacked it, but it went between all of the black and white jerseys and scooted past the left-hand upright and went out for a goal kick. It was a wicked delivery by Bruno Guimaraes.
Someone's got to be on the end of that, Sam. It's a perfect ball. We're right in line with it. He's whipped it just outside the back post, low. Just got to make a run. Someone get across. On the back foot, all of them.
It's a hell of a chance for Newcastle.
It was.
And Chelsea have got to react to the warning signs that have come their way in the opening 3 minutes of the second half. And they've got Petrovic in goal. The back four is Gusto at right back, Disasi, Chalobah and Cucurella. Gallagher playing right midfield. Left midfield. Palmer right midfield with Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo in the centre. Sterling partnering Jackson in attack now. And Sterling has robbed the ball in the middle of the park up towards Jackson, who takes it over the halfway line. He's fouled by Longstaff, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
What you said earlier, just talking about Chelsea with Gallagher on the left, I agree with you in some respects in that although it will help Chelsea defensively, stopping Livramento, you then lose Gallagher's strength, which is that wonderful athleticism to get himself in the box.
And to lead the press.
It's kind of like they're trying to plug one gap, but then another hole opens because he moves out there, and you lose the physicality of his press when he's out on the left.
Yep, absolutely. And that just probably shows you that the configuration of the team isn't quite right. Gallagher, who's going to take the free kick, the captain, just 3 yards in front of the centre circle, dead centre, slides it to Gusto right side. He looks up, feeds Disasi. Disasi tries to engage with Dan Burn, two rather big fellas going at it down the right-hand side.
Always good to see.
And then it's turned back into Gusto, and now Gallagher. Gallagher bumped off the ball by Willock into Disasi, forward to Palmer, chested down by Gallagher, can't get hold of it, and then Almiron's got a whack on this near touchline, and he's just hobbling away as the ball goes out for a throw-in. Newcastle's lineup, by the way, Dubravka is their goalkeeper, Livramento, Cher, Botman and Burn the back four, Willock, Guimaraes and Longstaff in midfield, On the right side, Murphy, who came on for the injured Gordon inside the first half of the game here.
Done well as well since he's come on.
He has. He did well with his first touch. Isaac, the goal scorer, and on the left side now, Miguel Almiron. Here's Livramento, far touchline. Gallagher goes across to engage with Murphy. Livramento is allowed to continue because the ball went in his favour. He plays a nice little ball actually down the right channel, but Isaac was just going into the centre, so it floats away from him and into the arms of Jordan Petrovic away to our left-hand side. 1987, the last time Newcastle won 2 league games in one season against Chelsea. It was the year that Peter Beardsley went from Newcastle to Liverpool for £1.9 million, 1987.
It was also the year I remember seeing one of the best FA Cup finals I ever saw.
Yeah, that was the Coventry City one?
Yes.
Against Tottenham Hotspur, Keith Houchin's goal. Here is Palmer down the right-hand side, moving towards the edge of the area. Oh, he weaves one way, then the other, gets some space. Low cross through the 6-yard box, no one to finish it off. It flashed through the 6-yard box that Chelsea were attacking. Gallagher went steaming in, Sterling did too. Neither of them could reach it. It goes out on the far side and away for a throw. But another dazzling, dancing moment from Cole Palmer to open up the chance to flash across into the box.
Well, once he gets one-on-one with you, you're in a world of trouble. And he's twisting and chopping, and his guile is just really great to watch. Dan Burns struggling there, gets the cross on his right foot.
And now Isaac is escaping down the right-hand side. He comes in past Moses Caicedo. Out to... Oh, it's a poor ball out to the left of Murphy. And it's cut out by Gusto. And Chelsea in transition now. Motor up the field. Down the right side. Gusto into Jackson. Jackson right corner of the penalty area. Needs support. Palmer provides it. Takes the touch. Went to shoot left-footed. Didn't. Decided to play it down towards this near side. Almiron intercepted and comes away with the ball. He feeds it into Murphy. Murphy goes up against Cucurella. Isaac takes it on. Cucurella wins it, puts it out of play. Out for a throw on the far side.
I'll tell you what's great to see is Almiron is running off the ball with defensively and offensively. Spit it out. Honestly, he does not stop. I know the end product's not been there, but you know what you get from him.
His engine is so good. I don't think he's been to Jason Cundy's mechanic shop, do you?
No, absolutely not.
If you didn't hear it earlier on, Jason did a brilliant piece comparing Chelsea to a Formula 1 car. Commentator's curse. Almiron's just given the ball away rather sloppily on this near side. Chelsea have the ball on this near side. Jason back on the Sports Bar tonight, taking your calls on all the action. 03717223344. It's Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole. They'll be on the Sports Bar later. Caicedo stops the ball from reaching Isaac. It's a loop towards halfway, into the air by Cher, and back further forward by Chalobah. A bit of head tennis going on between the central defenders before eventually Cher brings it down and adds a bit of poise to proceedings. It's switched by Guimaraes out towards the left. Almiron runs at Gusto, goes on the outside, low ball to the near post, but Disasi is there in front of Murphy.
He'd done the hard work, Sammy beat him. He didn't realise he'd gone to ground, and he just needed to take his time. He rushed across.
Oh, Palmer, nice ball into Sterling, who's isolated the central defender Botman. He goes on the outside, gets into the area, right-footed shot, and it's too close to the side netting. The angle was tight. He was never going to pull it back from that sort of range. Good movement by Chelsea. Palmer feeding the ball into Sterling's path, inside right channel. Isolated the defender, tried to go on the outside, but that meant he caused himself a problem with the angle of the shot, and it went wide.
There was no real conviction in what he was trying to do, and he didn't feint to go on his left enough to then get it on his right. He just obviously went to his right and so too far, but Palmer involved again. His decision making for a player who hasn't played that long at this level is phenomenal.
Is that because he spent so long last season and the season before? Yeah. He had a period in the first team before that. He had an injury, but he was around the first team for 2 years in that Pep Guardiola environment.
Yes, and also the quality of players he was learning from. Yeah.
Again, the ball's gone out by Willett towards Almiron. It's just scooted off the turf and out for a throw on this near side. 55 on the clock. 1-1 on Talksport.
He'd be in the England squad for me all day.
He was in the last England squad.
Yeah, he would stay in it because he can play anywhere. And I don't think it'd faze him playing at any level of football.
Yeah, I don't think anything phases him.
No.
We spoke to him after the recent game against Crystal Palace, and he was in fine fettle that night.
Was he not intimidated by you? One of the most famous reporters, journalists, commentators in the land.
Do you know what he said to me when he first came up to see me?
Right.
I said, hello, it's Sam from Talksport, and he went, I used to listen to you on my way to school. Sterling down the left-hand side. That put me in my place. Gallagher turns, fires it out towards the near side. And it's Gusto takes it on. Down the right to Gallagher. Gallagher with a chance to turn inside the area now. He just a cut back. Palmer does well. And tries to nudge it out towards the far side now. Travels with the ball so well, then turns and comes the other way. Newcastle penned in on the edge of their own penalty area here. Chelsea on the attack. Gallagher with a decent ball in towards the near post. Headed away by Cher. Well, then Palmer was dispossessed and Guimaraes tries to bring it clear. And then Caicedo wins it back. Gusto now. This is better from Chelsea. Gusto running forward, sliding over 2 challenges. Gets to the edge of the box. A right-footed ball which wasn't read. And away by Botman. Back they come again, Chelsea. Down the Newcastle left-hand side. The inside right as Chelsea look at it with Palmer to the left and Fernandes. Caicedo, Gallagher, and then on to Malo Gusto. He gets into a crossing position, hesitates, comes back infield. Gallagher probing now, trying to nudge it forward. Caicedo back out wide towards the right. Gusto with the chance to cross. And it's away by Botman. And then Byrne, from the left fullback position, tried to clear it, and he swiped underneath the ball and out for a throw-in on this near side.
Good pressure from Chelsea.
Palmer with an effort, edge of the box, and sends a screamer in towards the near post. Quick throw-in from the right-hand side, popped off immediately to Palmer. He turned and hit it in one movement, drawing it low to the goalkeeper's left. And Chelsea are in front again, and there's no surprise that the man at the heart of it is Cole Palmer. 2-1.
It's just incredible. The positions he picks up, the confidence in front of goal, everything about him is effortless. The movement to get into the space, the touch on his weaker foot to take him on quickly, take him on so he's stronger, and then the awareness to shoot where the space is. Lovely take, bang through the legs of Botman.
Chelsea lead by 2-1. Pochettino celebrates. The Chelsea fans celebrate. It is goal number 13 for Cole Palmer this season, and it might be an unlucky one for Newcastle United. Here is Chalobah trying to get the ball away after they immediately from the kickoff tried to shoot it forward. It breaks on the edge of the box by...
No confidence from Longstaff. He's there to be hit. Edge of the box.
Now Chelsea are away again. A flick on by Jackson. Sterling lost it initially. Recovered. Goes through on the goalkeeper. He's been engaged, but he's still got hold of it. He's shot it goalwards. It's blocked on the line. And Dan Byrne has got back to stop it.
Got to score.
Sterling took too many touches in the end, and the chance evaporated. It should have been 3-1, Danny Murphy.
Well, it started from Newcastle having a great break. It falls to the edge of the box for Longstaff. He doesn't. Chelsea then break. They're in. Sterling 1-on-1. He does the hard work. Goes down the keeper. Just got to slot it past the men on the line. And Dan Byrne, terrific save on the line. Could be game over.
Would have been if Chelsea had scored it. They didn't. Newcastle on the attack once again. Chelsea usually love a visit from a Magpie. They've got more Premier League home wins against Newcastle than any other visiting team, and they lead here by 2-1, and this will damage Newcastle's European hopes. But here's Isak, edge of the area, and he's shot the ball well over the top of the crossbar from range, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. What a chance for Chelsea to get a third. Raheem Sterling, the ball played up to him on halfway. He juggled with it with his head. He kept it alive when it looked like it had gone. He rediscovered his control, got into the area. Dubravka came out at his feet. He then took it past him, managed to get the shot away, but he took so much time, Danny, that they were allowed to get 2 players back on the line, gravitating towards the goal.
There was still space either side of him once he'd taken it around the keeper to slot it past. He'd done the hard work. The calmness. the calmness to get around the keeper and settle himself. But I still don't understand why Longstaff didn't take a shot at that, because that's what caused the problem.
60 minutes on the clock. Chelsea 2, Newcastle United 1. And Chelsea in a commanding position, but they could have been further ahead if Sterling had popped that chance in. But going back to the goal that Cole Palmer scored, it's another terrific moment from him. 7 goals, 6 assists in his last 12 Premier League games. Even when Chelsea aren't at their best, he seemingly is. He's
the best player.
Without doubt their best player, I think.
Yeah. They've got an absolute gem.
And he had the confidence to shrug off the cloak of Manchester City, come here and be the best player, and he has been. He sent the ball down the right, asked a little bit much of Gusto there, and Malagusto then commits a foul, which is a little bit unnecessary, really.
Do you know that even that pass where we just saw, he's played the ball, he's recognised it's Gusto against Dan Burn, and he's thought, you know what, let's test it.
Yeah.
And he's made Dan Burn sprint back and lunge to get there. Yes, Gusto give a foul away, but it was the right decision. And that's what I'm talking about, decision-making from top players.
Well, Newcastle in a slightly different zone to they were at this stage last season. You can trust them to score goals, though. They've got 58 Premier League goals this season now. They're most in a top-flight season since 1964-65, so maybe their goal-scoring isn't over yet. But they might need a little bit more contribution from their wide men, because we haven't seen much of Tino Livramento in this second half of the game.
No.
Here he is over on the far side, out-jumped by Cucurella, returning for the first time since December. Shanked into the air by Scher, out for a throw-in over on the far side. Mudryk warming up away to our left. You can see Noni Madueke out there as well. Carney Chukwuemeka is there for 2 for Chelsea. Maybe they're preparing some substitutions as we go into the final half an hour of the game here.
I think Newcastle will be making a couple as well. I think Longstaff struggled a little bit this evening to the normal impact he has on games.
Lewis Miley's on the bench for them tonight.
Yeah.
Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1 on Talksport with Now. And don't forget, with Now's, now you can watch Chelsea versus Newcastle live right now with a Now membership. Just search Now Sports. Botman brings the ball out of defence for Newcastle, launching it high into the night sky in southwest London. It bounces once before Almiron, then tries to take it down towards the corner flag, being pursued by Malagusto, who wins that challenge and then takes no chances and pokes it out of play and away for a throw-in on this near side. Newcastle warming up a couple of their substitutes down in front of us as well, including Elliot Anderson. Good to see him back.
Yeah, terrific young player, isn't he?
Throw-in to be taken near side. And it will be Dan Burn looking for an option. Isaac comes short down by the corner flag. The Chelsea fans are starting to find their voice again. And they win a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Well, they've got 36 points. It'll be 39 if they win tonight, which would be just
they'll be safe.
5 fewer than the whole of last season. That's a joke I cracked last week, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know you did joke.
Really?
No.
Sometimes they don't land on the cynical. It's Caicedo into Fernandes, out towards Cucurella, who looks to feed it down the
Sometimes they don't land on the cynical. I thought you were going to say sometimes they don't land on the intelligent.
You gave yourself far too much credit.
I did, yeah. It's the ego kicking in again. Got to get rid of that at some point.
25 to go. Chelsea 2, Newcastle United 1. Like Newcastle, Chelsea got an FA Cup quarter-final at the weekend, a game that they simply have to win against the Championship leaders, really. It's their only route to silverware. Here's Livramento in an advanced position now for the first time in a while, trying to take on Fernandes. It's a good ball into the centre, read by Caicedo, and he had to because Isaac had just pulled off.
Brilliant from Caicedo. Nice play from Livramento. The reason he delayed the cross because there wasn't many in there, and he delayed it well. but it gave Caicedo the chance to get back in and intercept, exactly what that position entails, spotting danger. Better though from Newcastle. It's the first time we've seen them down that right-hand side for a while.
This will be harmful for Eddie Howe and his team's chances of getting into European competition, should they?
Yeah, they're not getting in European competition.
Do you not think so?
No.
Not even if they were... I mean, if they were to come back and win this tonight, they would go up into 7th position, so that would be in the right well places.
Enough at the moment. But you might be wrong.
Currently,
even the performance tonight... Sorry, Sam. Even the performance tonight, bits of good. And some real sloppy play as well.
They can't keep conceding as many goals as they've conceded this season if they want to play in Europe, that's for sure. They were so much better at that last season. That was the bedrock, the foundation of their success last year. Yeah. Their great defensive play. It is currently Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1, and for the latest odds you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Chelsea to go on and win the game at 7-2 on, and back Chelsea to win at those odds, Newcastle to win at 16-1. The draw is 18-5. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes, 18+, begambleaware.org. I wonder if anyone at Ladbrokes has seen Chelsea's second half record. Odds look a little bit generous, I think, on Newcastle. Especially if they were to score from this set piece, and they've had chances from this sort of range because Jacob Murphy, 12 yards outside the area, right-hand side, he's just about to place the ball down after a foul by Chelsea, has given them a free kick. 67 minutes on the clock. A goal now would definitely give them hope that they could come back and take all 3 points.
It's a really high line Chelsea have got. Leaves a nice big area just to feed it into. I think the reason they have a line that high is because they don't think that Newcastle players can get there in time.
Here is Murphy with a delivery. Dan Burn did get there and he sends it wide of the goal. He got up really high above the Chelsea defence but couldn't direct his header, and then he's fallen awkwardly, I think, as he's landed, and needs a bit of attention as a result of that. He's stayed down, prostrate inside the 6-yard box away to our left, and John Brooks has asked for assistance.
That was a chance though, wasn't it? Great ball in again from Murphy. Dan Burn rising, can't quite control it, but real opportunity to get back in the game.
Live commentary on Thursday night, Aston Villa against Ajax, live on Talksport. Before that, West Ham against Freiburg in the second leg of the Europa League last 16. Tomorrow night, we'll have live commentary of Arsenal against Porto. Wednesday night, Bournemouth against Luton. Wall-to-wall football on the station that brings you more football than anyone else. It is Talksport. When you wake up in the morning, Alan Brazil will pour over all the action alongside Ali McCoist as they bring you all the latest from Cheltenham in the build-up to the first of 4 cracking days of racing. Races all live on Talksport and Talksport 2 over the next 4 days as well. And then at the weekend, we've got wall-to-wall FA Cup action for you as well. All the football, all the time. You know it makes sense. It's got to be Talksport. Dan Burns up on his feet. It's going to go off as you have to once you've had treatment for 30 seconds on this near side, and Chelsea have a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Petrovic just waiting for him to come off. Oh, he's going to be taken off now and being replaced by Emil Kraft, actually. So obviously not going to be okay to continue here, Dan Burn. And Elliot Anderson is also going to come on. So Emil Kraft on. And I think he will go to the right-hand side and Livramento to the left as a result of that change.
What's the point of having Matt Targett on the bench? I never understand why managers treat footballers a certain way. I mean, I'm not saying Eddie Howe's a bad manager or man-to-man manager, but sometimes you've got to play it. He's always on the bench. He's a left-back. He makes a sub. The left-back's off. Livramento, who you normally play left-back's playing instead of the right-back. But what you do is you put another right-back on and bring the right-back over to left-back and leave your second left-back on the bench still.
Almiron has gone off and on comes Elliot Anderson on this near touchline. Chelsea playing out and getting up the pitch very quickly. Jackson helps it on to Sterling, who didn't know where the ball was, and Livramento intervenes, but then they pull it back for an offside against the Chelsea forward anyway, and it will be a free kick. The only answer I can give you to that question is that Matt Targett has been out for pretty much most of the season with a hamstring injury.
Okay.
And I wonder whether or not they feel that this is the best time to test that.
Fair enough. I thought he'd been on the bench quite a lot.
Well,
I'll check that.
He has been earlier in the season. He's only did his hamstring. I think he did his hamstring during the League Cup game that we covered on Talksport. Is it against Manchester United?
Yeah, but that was months ago.
Yeah, it was months ago.
The reason I'm bringing it up is because sometimes the player, you're on the bench knowing you're never going to get on no matter what because the manager doesn't want you anymore. But don't put him on put a young lad on the bench. No point.
Mykhailo Mudryk is on for Chelsea as they look to try and find some invention. Sterling has gone off here down the right-hand side. Murphy, a great ball forward right away from the back, but Murphy took it out of play.
Yeah, it was good. It was good intent rather than conviction. It was a really hard ball, but a good one. Good spot.
Yeah, he hasn't played since the League Cup fourth round game with Manchester United on November the 1st.
As a start, yeah. But what I'm saying, I think he's been on the bench a lot. But why put him on the bench if you're never going to use him?
Goal kick away to our left-hand side, and it'll be taken by Petrovic, who smashes it up towards the halfway line, finds Conor Gallagher. Gallagher nudges it back to Cucurella and then headed forward, and Enzo Fernandez picks it up, plays it into Mudryk. Mudryk tries to feed Jackson. Lovely 1-2 between the two. The second reverse to Jackson wasn't as good, but Palmer's got it now, right edge of the area, tries to drag it back. Across comes Willock, did well, nabbed it off Cole Palmer, and then Livramento looking to escape down this near side. Fernandez, he's beaten him too, and he's still going, Livramento, on this near touchline, and then he's fouled by Caicedo, and the free kick is given. The yellow card goes Caicedo's way, and you're right, Danny, absolutely right. The pace and guile of Tino Livramento, left or right side, just frightens people.
He's a powerhouse, but he can play as well. He's a super player. When everyone's fit, I don't care, when everyone's fit, he's got to be in this Newcastle team, and I'd be absolutely gobsmacked if he wasn't in Gareth's squad this week with the injuries, because he is so athletic and so capable in both aspects of play. You know, offensively great and defensively one-on-one very, very good. Yeah, he's young and he'll make mistakes, of course, but imagine playing against him.
You wouldn't fancy it?
No.
Murphy to take the free kick on this near side, right-footed. It'll be launched in towards the edge of the box, actually giving it short to Guimaraes, and then got it back again, and then he's overrun the ball, and Mudryk actually is engaged him. It's gone out for a corner away to our left, but it's a bit of a fumble, that.
It was an illogical free kick, because you're playing a right-footed player down into the left corner to cross it on his left when he had a stationary ball that he's able to play with his right, and he played beautifully 2 or 3 earlier in the game. Bizarre choice. Anyway.
He has a stationary opportunity with his right foot now from the corner into the near post, and it was poor. And it's out to the near side. He's got another chance to whip it in, though, and this one's a bit better. And Petrovic comes and grabs it. And Chelsea, well, they want to release it quickly. Jackson's made a dart up towards halfway, but he took too long, Petrovic, to realise that. The crowd alerted him to it. And that also alerted Alexander Isak, who's robbed it, run towards the right edge of the penalty area, cut in, played it back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes down the right side looking for Isak, and Cucurella stretched to stop it from reaching him. And then it's fed into midfield, and Caicedo could release Jackson, but he did get the ball right.
Right idea, though.
Botman stepped across and intervened well.
Read it beautifully, Botman. It was the right pass.
It was a good idea from Chelsea, and it was good defending. Sometimes you just have to say, it was good defending.
Yeah. I always think it's fine giving the ball away if a player's trying to play the right pass at the right time. And when you play forward through balls, you're not gonna get them all there. But it's nice to see Caicedo try and play it and not overthink it.
Hearts have taken the lead against Morton in the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. They lead by a goal to 0.
Good ball.
Here is Emil Kraft, far side the right. Come off the bench today, Anderson. Then with a cross towards the far post, it's dropped inside the box, and it's with Isak trying to get beyond Disasi. Does very, very well. And then that's a poor clearance by Fernandez, who swipes it into the air. Gusto kicks it away because he just wants the ball to get out of play, because Chelsea don't want to invite trouble.
I do think at times with Isak, there are times where he's so calm, he takes an extra touch or two in the box, which is all right a lot of the time, but there are occasions where you need to have a swipe. That one got pulled back to his left foot, and I thought he could have just had a little go at it, maybe get a little deflection, but the extra touch was one too many.
Well, you do He's still a young player himself, actually, isn't he, Alexander Isak? He's only 24 years of age. He's certainly taken to life in the Premier League well. Here down the right, the ball is sent in by Longstaff towards the far post. It's headed back towards Livramento, strikes it. Didn't get cleanly, and it was away by, off the back of Fernandes, and then away by Cucurella. Good turn, brilliant turn by Jackson, who spins into space down the left-hand side. He gets towards the edge of the box. He tries to feed Gallagher. Gallagher leaves it for Mudryk, who weaves his way through, goes round the goalkeeper, pops it home. It's a terrific goal from Mykhailo Mudryk. Great feat to open up the Newcastle defence. And Chelsea are going to chase off the boos from their own blues by taking out the Toon. A terrific clinching goal for Chelsea, scored by one of their most expensive acquisitions, Mykhailo Mudryk, after a brilliant run from Jackson down the left-hand side. Let his feet do the talking, and boy, did they come up with the perfect riposte to any of those who had been giving Chelsea some stick. That was one hell of a finish, 3-1.
Well, that's the Mudryk we saw when he came on at Anfield in his first game. Full of confidence, great feet, full of speed, nice and positive. He's actually been really positive since he's come on. Great feet, and this little bit here, he dances around the keeper. Yes, he makes the angle tighter, but still gets it in. And I'm pleased for him, I have to say. He's taken a hell of a lot of stick, and he's taken a while to settle, but that is what we saw on that opening day when he came off the bench. I don't know if you were there, Sam, at Anfield, when he looked $1 million. That will do him the world of good.
It was actually last January, wasn't it? It was an early kickoff. He came in the January, and he came off the bench, and he half-time, I think it was. Is that right?
I can't recall. Your memory's better than mine, but I just remember being wowed by him.
Yeah. 0-0, I think it was, but he was brilliant off the bench, caused all sorts of problems. And then you're right, we haven't seen it since, really. And he scored there what could only be described as a terrific goal.
He did okay. I think we did the Fulham game maybe together, and he did okay there. But it's been glimpses, hasn't it? Very.
Murphy into the box on the right-hand side. Chelsea 3, Newcastle 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Monday night's his game night. It's Danny Murphy night. He is back on Wednesday with Simon Jordan and Jim White.
He's off again.
Mudryk has picked the ball up on the left-hand side from Gallagher, and he's darting again towards the edge of the box. Palmer goes into the area. It's Mudryk trying to feed the ball into Gallagher. He just took a little bit too long to do so, and by which time he was crowded out by black and white jerseys, and they snaffle the ball up and take it to the far side. Chelsea want to inflict a bit of revenge here. They lost 4-1 at St James's Park. They'd love to win 4-1. Jackson into Palmer, gets past the defender, and he just did enough, Botman, to hold him off as he looked as if he was going to get beyond him. His strength did the work in the end, Sven Botman. But Chelsea once again testing that Newcastle back line, which has leaked like a rusty pipe this season.
Jackson's been great as well, hasn't he? We've eulogised about Cole Palmer, but whoa,
what on earth was Bruno Guimaraes doing?
Don't know, but he's telling him.
Stopped and waited on the ball, and as a result Palmer just went across and took it from him and ran to the other side of the pitch. Oh dear. Chalobah. Like you said earlier, it's been a Newcastle performance of patches, but when things have gone wrong, they have gone very wrong.
Well, we talked about it earlier, didn't we? The amount of goals they've conceded this season compared to last. Yes, there have been injuries, but some of them are their own problems. You know, they've been lax at the time. The first goal, so avoidable. You know, not switched off, poor defence and no press, poor clearance. Little basic things. I mean, Chelsea have been good when they've gone forward. You know, they've got really talented front players, and we've seen at games. I mean, remember they played City here, even away at City. I remember the Liverpool game and even the Arsenal game where they caused all the best teams problems. They've got forwards who can cause you problems.
I think I'm right in saying now that Newcastle's defence on the road is now the joint worst in the Premier League with Sheffield United.
Wow. Now that is a worrying stat.
On comes Lewis Miley, off comes Joe Willock. And the other change is going to be Joe White to come into midfield to replace Bruno Guimaraes here for the last few minutes of the game. 10 minutes to go. And Joe White coming into the centre of midfield for Newcastle United. Came off the bench against Bournemouth to make his debut. Carlisle Borning, the under 18 international, was on loan at Crewe in the first half of the season.
Wow.
Must be a good player if he's played for Crewe.
Well, he'll play the right way, that's for sure. They were flying first half of the season as well, Crewe, so it wouldn't surprise me if he had a big part in that.
Gusto into Enzo Fernandez. Across to Cucurella. Chelsea leading by 3-1. It's been quite a good spell for them at home. They had a poor start to the season, but they hadn't lost since October before the defeat here a couple of weeks ago to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, now the Chelsea fans are singing once again. Here on the right side, the ball sent into the box towards Joe White. He takes it down, moves out wide, tucks it back for Murphy, into the centre looking for Isaac. It's away by Chalobah, collected by Lewis Smiley, and then sent back to his own goalkeeper by Fabian Schär. The Premier League table will look interesting at the end of the night if it stays like this. Chelsea 11th position. They'll put 4 points between themselves and 12th place Fulham. And they'll have a game in hand over Newcastle, and only 1 point the difference now between the two. If Chelsea win their game in hand over Newcastle, Wolves and Brighton, they'll be up into 8th position. The problem is that game in hand is against Arsenal. Here is Enzo Fernandez. Back to Chalobah. And then across to Disasi, who takes it infield, runs through towards the edge of the centre circle, gives it to Gallagher. Gallagher runs down the left, feeds it into Palmer. Palmer tries to go on the outside of Kraft, but he was crafty enough to pinch it.
Is that here, Sam, or at Arsenal, sorry, did you say?
It's at Arsenal.
Yeah, that makes it tougher.
Is it at Arsenal? I think it is. Can't remember now, because it was supposed to be this weekend, live on Talksport, but it got changed because Chelsea were involved in a quarter-final of the FA Cup. Here is Disasi into Enzo Fernandez. Gusto
That's
forward.
Right.
And it goes straight back to Dubravka, away to our right-hand side. Newcastle, whose next few games see them go to Manchester City live on Talksport at the weekend, then entertain West Ham at home, Everton at home, Fulham away, Tottenham at home, Manchester United away, Sheffield United at home. They're the next few fixtures. They come into the box down the right side. Murphy's ball into the box is missed by Isaac. It goes out on the left for Livramento. Livramento trying to get back on side. Anderson's ball is cut out. Caicedo brings it clear. Plays a 1-2 with Palmer. There's loads of space for Gallagher to run into. Over on the left, and does he run? He moves towards the edge of the box on the attack for Chelsea. Anderson does well. Gets across. Wins the ball.
Murphy put in a beautiful ball. You could see where he wanted to put it, and the fact is, if we can see it up here, Isak should know it's a lazy run. I say lazy, a tired run.
They've given the ball away on the edge of the box, and Jackson's got it. And he doesn't realise that Joe White's behind him. Everyone's tired all of a sudden, losing their minds, and Newcastle managed to clear upfield. Are you tired, are you?
I'm losing my mind.
There's nothing wrong with your mind. Here's Gusto, right
It's been
side.
an enjoyable game, hasn't it? It's been very open. Two teams had a right good go.
Yes.
I said reet, and then I thought, what?
Have you got
I don't know what's going on.
Personality disorder as well? I think you're Scottish.
I've had that for a while, yeah. Just been able to hide it.
Danny McMurphy. Here is Anderson, who is Scottish, moving towards the midpoint of the Chelsea half. He leaves the ball for Isaac. It goes out towards the right-hand side. It's turned out to Murphy. Murphy moves to the edge of the box. His cross is cut out by Gallagher, who gets out there well. And then Murphy will recycle it again. 5 minutes to go before the end of the game. It's back out to Murphy. Left-footed ball, right-footed ball into the box, and it's cleared away. As I mentioned earlier on, Hearts are through in the Scottish Cup quarter-final. The Scottish Cup semi-final draw has just been made, and Celtic and Rangers have been kept apart. Aberdeen against Celtic, Rangers against Hearts. They'll be played both at Hampden Park the same weekend of the FA Cup semi-finals in England, the 20th and 21st of the month. It's going to be a change for Chelsea, and the man who spent the first half of the season on loan at Leicester is coming on, and Cole Palmer is coming off. It was a little bit unnecessary for John Brooks to make him go off in front of the Newcastle fans, but he did that. He could have walked towards the near touchline, and Cesare Casadei comes on.
Why would you do that? See, that the referees never had to deal with away fans.
Ball in towards the near post from the corner, headed by Botman into the air. It drops inside the box. Longstaff couldn't get there. It's away by Jackson, and then further clear by Cucurella. Picked up by Anderson as they keep them pressed inside their own penalty area here. It's whipped into the box. Chatlabar sticks out a leg and it pumps up into the arms of Petrovic. It was unnecessary, wasn't it? He should have just allowed him to come off on this near side.
I don't think he thought it through, did he? I was going to say the ref's he's probably never been abused by away fans, and then I thought, I bet he has actually. So he should know better.
Not just away fans.
Well, exactly.
Poor refs get it from all sides,
They
I'm
do,
afraid.
don't they? They do a great job.
Here is Disasi. Gusto on the near touchline, under a little bit of pressure. Chelsea about to win here once again, and about to go 4 games in the Premier League unbeaten for the first time in 13 months.
But as you said, apart from the Wolves game here, they've been good.
Here's Mudryk running forward down the left-hand side. He then comes over to the right, and he gets towards the edge of the box. He's being chased by Murphy, but he's produced a cross. He's a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, and he expended so much energy and did it at such speed that he went careering into the advertising board behind the goal away to our right, and Murphy had to go and check to see if he was all right. Gusto with a really good challenge on Anderson to take the ball away. When he has his ankles taken from underneath him, that's going to be a free kick just short of the halfway line. 3-1 Chelsea.
Been good, Gusto. Mudryk looks really fresh. Like the penny's dropped a little bit. Someone's been working with him. How to use your pace and speed and influence, and where all your attributes, I should say, to get this crowd on your side. Because if they see him doing that, he doesn't have to score every week. If he's committing people and sprinting like he does with the ball and flying past people, they'll take to him. How can you not?
Well, he scored here today as Chelsea went 3-1 in the lead. That was probably the clinching goal of the match. The match sealed by that. Casadei sends the ball down the right-hand side into Gusto. Gusto back to Casadei once again. Scored 3 goals for Leicester in his period at the King Power Stadium, including a goal against Millwall that took them into the 4th round of the FA Cup and started Leicester's charge. It means he won't actually be able to play in the quarter-final of the FA Cup against Leicester at the weekend.
I don't think he'd have probably been starting anyway. I don't think Pochettino will be messing around with that team too much, Sam, do you?
I think you're right. Disasi. Mudryk back to Cassidy on this near side, and he sees it all the way back to Petrovic, who lifts it high into the air, looking for Caicedo, who somehow gets the better of Longstaff, and then Jackson just didn't need to do that. He tried to sort of flick it scorpion style.
I know, but why are the fans? You're 3-1 up. You've seen a good performance. Jackson's been terrific, scored, worked tirelessly, and they want to moan and groan when he gives a ball away, for God's sake.
Here's Gusto into the right fullback position.
Honest to God.
They're allowed their opinion. They pay their money. You get yours.
Oh, come on. So give him some support, you know what I mean? He's done well, he's worked hard, he's getting out of bad touch.
He's
done
been
really
brilliant,
well.
by the way. The last couple of games he's been
moaning
brilliant.
and whining about a bad touch.
Do you know what? He's been very good since coming back from the Africa Cup of Nations. Ball down the right-hand side. He's got Pochettino's support, no doubt about that. Pochettino's bigged him up, talked about him all season as a prime striker. And they've trusted him and utilised him when many others were taking the mick that he wasn't scoring goals. But he has got 13 for the season now.
That's good for your first full season, isn't it? Come on. Anyone, 13 goals, and there'll be more. He'll get a few more before the end.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
If he gets the chances, he'll take them. He's got speed, he's got a little bit of guile. Sometimes he over-elaborates, and Cucurella's done that, and he's given the ball to Murphy, who smashed it in from the edge of the box with an absolute cannon. A rocket from the boot of Jacob Murphy has almost ripped the net off from 20 yards out. Cucurella overcommitted, and Murphy picked the ball up and smashed it with violence beyond Petrovic. It's 3-2 as we go into stoppage time.
Well, he's deserved that, actually, because he's been brilliant since he's come on. He's made a real difference, and he's worked tirelessly down that right side. What a strike. 6 minutes to go. Couldn't be one more chance, could there?
Well, Chelsea are not going to throw away more points, are they, in the second half of games?
I don't know, but it'd be great, wouldn't it? I don't mean because I don't like Chelsea, just for us watching.
Sounds a little bit anti-Chelsea.
No, I'm not. I like Chelsea. I like Poch. I love Palmer. I mean, how much more compliments do you want me to give him? I'm just mean in terms of the game. Imagine a 96-minute equaliser. Geordies would be going mad.
Well, it was just a little bit over-aggressive, I think, from Cucurella. The ball was played towards Murphy. It got rolled so easy, and boy, did he smack that. Here is Mudryk at the other end as Chelsea come forward. We knew there were going to be goals tonight. Gallagher with an effort from 25 yards this time, dead centre, trying to pick out the top corner. Dubravka went springing to his right and saved.
Got to play that.
Well, we said to you tonight that these two teams produce goals. It was a guaranteed goal fest, and it's delivered. Chalobah goes crunching into a challenge on Murphy on the far side, slides the ball out of play. 92 minutes on the clock. Chelsea, who don't do anything easily, even when they were winning against Palace here a couple of months ago, they decided to retreat into their own box right at the very end and almost give Palace a chance to nick it. So they've won it on the halfway line, and Chukwuemeka, who's come off the bench, goes steaming forward. He's got Mudryk in support. He outfoxed himself there. Held on to it for too long.
The key when you're breaking, when you're winning late in games, is to keep the ball. Whether that's running with it, passing it, wherever you feel your strength is. If you haven't got the legs, you pass. You just got to keep the ball. If you give it away, you failed.
Well, Chukwuemeka's come off the bench here, so he should have the legs to be able to deal with it. But he gave it away. Newcastle have got possession and the chance to attack down the right-hand side. Cher declines the invitation to put it out towards the far side. 92 minutes and 28 seconds on Talksport. Game night, Talksport, Monday night. Drama, as always, unfolding live on the radio as we go into the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds of stoppage time. Can Newcastle...
Why is Botman not going up? Get Botman up. Get the big man up.
Botman sticking on halfway. Goes out to the wide right. Picked up by Kraft, who charges forward. He's got the opportunity to play in Longstaff, who's gone down the right channel. He's tracked by Disassi. The ball into the box by Isak is too close to Petrovic, and he grabs it from the sky.
So lucky.
And Poch is going mad. Get forward, get out from the back, try and get up towards halfway. Newcastle know that there still might be one late twist in this yet. Chelsea, who have started to find their shooting boots again, have scored in 11 straight Premier League games, but their back door never seems to be shut firmly enough. Is he going to be prized open one last time? Here's Murphy, far side, trying to get the better of Cucurella. This time he sends his flick out to the far side. It goes out of play and away for a Chelsea throw, and Cucurella will take ages over taking this throw in from the far touchline. It goes out of play and away for a Chelsea ball. We're into the final stages here. Ball sent down the touchline, and Gallagher felt he was fouled over on that far side. Referee says it's a throw-in, and it's taken quickly by Kraft, sent back to Cher, Botman, then back out to the left, and Tino Livramento.
Why is he playing it out here, by the way?
Cassidy then tangles with Livramento. It's a free kick right on this near side, and they've played it short rather than waiting and putting people up from the back. Botman sends it wide. Murphy, poor control. It wasn't an easy ball to control, but Gallagher nicked it, and now Chelsea have possession. Far side, Gallagher doesn't want to go anywhere. He just wants to keep hold of the ball. Good game management from the Chelsea captain. 94 minutes 36 seconds. Chelsea leading by 3-2. A game that should have been done was done.
Bizarre what Newcastle just did, by the way.
They're taking that short.
Well, the centre half could have played it long firstly, Then they get the free kick and play it short instead of throwing the big man up there. I mean, where's the brains in that?
Chucklemaker tries to play it around the corner for Mudryk. Mudryk was fouled as he went to go and get the return, and it's going to be a yellow card for Joe White and a free kick on this right-hand side for Chelsea as they run down the clock and we go into the final minute of added time. Chelsea, who might be able to build on this when they take on Leicester at the weekend. Newcastle, who are 10 points off where they were at this stage last season before kick-off, have not been able to make up any ground. It was thought that their struggles on the road were coming to an end, but not so. They're going to lose again here at Stamford Bridge. As is their usual want, it's going to be one win in 29 Premier League visits to the bridge now for Newcastle United if Chelsea see this home. Down the right, Enzo Fernandez taking it to the corner flag, wasting precious seconds. 13 of them still to play. He thinks he won the throw-in. They've decided, the officials, that it's going to go the other way. Chelsea fans standing up, exasperated. How did that go against them? This should have been a bit more comfortable than it's turned out to be, but they're going to get the job done surely. Chukwuemeka takes it out of the sky, tried to turn inside the box but couldn't do so. They look at the referee as it goes into the 97th minute now. The ball cleared upfield. It goes over halfway. Chalobah takes it down and away from danger and pummels it into the West Stand over on the far side. Newcastle want to get this taken quickly and call it on.
The Botman's too tired to even get up there, look. Cher's telling him.
Ball thrown in from the right side. One last chance is there to get it in the box. The Chelsea fans want the whistle. 96 minutes and 36 seconds have been played. It's headed forward by Anderson. It goes behind for a goal kick. And that is going to be that. And Chelsea have got their victory. Well, it may not remove the pressure completely from Poch, but it will do his claims the power of good. Chelsea don't move in the table despite the fact that they've secured a victory inspired by Cole Palmer, clinched by Mykhailo Mudryk with a lovely bit of balletic footwork to get their third goal on the night. There was a late scare from Newcastle United after Jacob Murphy's thunderball, but they closed the gap to Newcastle to a point and know that should they win their game in hand, they can go up to 8th in the Premier League. That might not be a measure by which Chelsea of old would deem success, but this is Chelsea of a very different vintage. Newcastle's away form is going to cost them. Their eggs will now be all in the FA Cup basket come Saturday tea time. A quarter-final with one of the best teams in Europe on the road. Join us for that one. It's going to be epic. Chelsea 3, Newcastle United 2.
Well, Sam Matterface must have thought with that Mudryk goal he was back on dancing on ice duty. He just glided through, poked it home after creating the angle. Fantastic from the Ukrainian. Good to see Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson coming back on the field with their teammates afterwards as well. Overall, for mid-table Premier League, this was a terrific game of football. Newcastle, maybe the scoreline, I think, flatters them just a little bit. You're going to get reaction from Stamford Bridge, from both Chelsea and Newcastle camps live during the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole, the former Chelsea striker. Sam Matterface on his way down to interview everybody. Really looking forward to hearing what both Poch and Eddie Howe have to say. But two terrific second half goals for Chelsea. Cole Palmer with a blast. Danny Murphy, the first one, and Mykhailo Mudryk. That was just brilliant, wasn't it?
Well, Cole Palmer's been outstanding again, and we've talked about him, so I think we'll use this quick time to mention Mudryk. Been through a hell of a journey, the lad. Coming into this place for huge money, high expectations, and he's struggled, let's be honest. But that little cameo there shows you what he's about. I mean, I think some fans thought somebody had tricked them, but he has got ability. We saw it the first time he got on the pitch for Chelsea at Anfield, and that there was, we saw all his attributes. The quick feet, the amazing pace, and even that little bit of composure for the goal. We haven't seen that. That could be a brilliant springboard for him. I know it's too little too late this season, but we're talking the next 3 or 4 years with him, aren't we?
Yeah, as we said before the game, Chelsea have got some very, very young players. A lot of them will get a lot better It's just a case of when and whether Poch has got enough time. It's rare on game night, but Danny Murphy was not even the best Murphy in the building.
That's true.
Tonight. What a brilliant finish that was. All to no avail in the end. And you were unhappy with Chelsea fans moaning when they were 3-1 up. You do know Andy Jacobs, don't you? Yeah.
Well, I'm moaning at Jackson, especially, or moaning full stop, but you're 3-1 up, it's near the end of the game. Jackson has ran his knackers off. He's scored. He's a young guy. And he just makes one bad error, tired error near the end, in terms of his control and touch. And the groans and the whines, like, come on, you miserable lot. Get behind them, for God's sake.
It was Andy Jacobs, I could hear it. Listen, time now for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Well, it's another home game in March where Chelsea have won yet again as the players leave the field. The fans are going to go home happy, but who's your man of the match, Danny Murphy?
Well, I was really impressed with Jackson, but I'm going to give it Cole Palmer because he set up, he's involved in the first. He scores the crucial one when it's 1-1 under pressure, and his all-round game is an absolute joy to watch. Get him on the plane, Gareth.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen, by the way. Cole Palmer, our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Danny Murphy, thank you very much for this evening. Really enjoyed your company. Sports Bar is coming up, 03717 223344 if you want to get your calls in or your WhatsApp voice notes to Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole. Chelsea's best player has been Cole Palmer, no one calmer. Cole stayed cool to put them in front, and Mykhailo Mudryk came on, suddenly looked like the player Chelsea thought they were signing. 3-2 though, flattered Newcastle, who on the whole were pretty awful, and Eddie Howe will surely soon start feeling the Saudi heat. Another cracking game night on Talksport. 5 goals, some of them belters. The highlights, some Mudryk magic live on Talksport.